It's too early, but that's okay. My gym workout was phenomenal. Before I went home, I decided to stop over at my mother's house. I haven't seen my mother in 2 months. I know she's going to be very surprised to see me. I can't wait. What the? I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The first thing I noticed was this person's skin. What is going on? Uncomplicated, untreated skin? Who is this guy? I had to take a step back, but then I realized it was my brother. But look at his skin. Have you guys ever seen anything like that? I had to take a closer look and figure out what was going on. Best believe I crept up on him. Peep this. I'm still looking at his skin, trying to figure out, how did we get here? I could do nothing but shake my head. He could definitely use my help. I had to get to the bottom of this. He definitely needed some game about his skin. I'm just staring at it, like looking at it. Come on, bro. I knew what to do. I had to reach in my bag and get that Teej Hanley. Uncomplicated skincare for men. Bro, this is why I'm excited to have Tej Hanley as the sponsor of today's video. They have helped me start and maintain my skincare routine by making the entire process uncomplicated. Honestly, it's the best skincare system for guys like you and me. I recommend you start with their level 1 system, which comes with all the basics. A daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and the grime on your skin, a 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells, an AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. My brother was so excited. My favorite part about Tej Hanley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really make the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin easy. Shout out to Tej Hanley. And because Tej Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers a great deal. Just click the first link in the description, and not only will you get Tej Hanley for the best possible price, but they'll also give you a free gift with your first box. Click that link and get started today for just $30. Feel the Tej. Let the Tej force be with you.
Hello, hello.
Hey y'all, what's up?
What's going on?
Good to see you, Kayla. Calvin, happy to have you here.
Hey.
Are you excited?
Calvin?
Man, you know what? I didn't know it was gonna be like it's a whole production.
It is. It most certainly is. It's a whole
production.
production.
If I had time, I was gonna go wash my face. I was like, man, I can't be on here with the dry face.
Good. Oh, no, you look fine. I'm glad that you came on with us tonight. It's an interesting topic, so I definitely want to hear the male perspective. But definitely want to start out by shouting out our very first live show, Lapeef Let's Talk, April 23rd in Houston, Texas. Tickets are on sale now. Get them because there's a limited amount. We have a limited space. So get them now so that you can be there, and we can't wait to see you. Oh, there's also a discount code for a hotel so that you guys can find, somewhere to stay. So excited about that. We can't wait to see you guys there. But tonight, I think that tonight is really going to speak more to our more mature viewers who are, getting to that middle stage in life where our parents and our family are a big part of our life. And, our parents are getting older. There's so many different things, like as you make this transition from like a young person to like that middle adult space before you become old. But older, right. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that's just to give the premise for tonight. We are speaking with our more mature audience. And so I hope you guys enjoy. It's definitely going to be a good time. So make sure you get them likes up right now. Get the likes up. And then we'll just go ahead and jump right into it. Calvin, you want to say anything? Calvin's our guest for the night. Calvin is a comedian and
super funny,
super dope.
Yeah. Come on, introduce yourself, Calvin. Go ahead.
Come on, Calvin.
And we'll shout out whatever you'll shout out whatever your next upcoming.
It's funny because when I do comedy, I'm so used to people being like, "Hey, this person did this, that, and the other," and you might have seen them here. Now y'all like, you say it, you do it, you say what you're supposed to.
We don't want to get it wrong.
I mean, y'all knew I was gonna be on here. Y'all supposed to do homework.
Wow, he on here critiquing us during his bio. This is crazy.
Yeah, I'm just I'm from Chicago. I'm a stand-up comedian, actor. If you watch the show Southside, I'm a recurring character on there. Gino. I've appeared on Comedy Central, Heart of the City, NBC Bring the Funny. This feel weird. And I just my debut comedy album just dropped this past week. Born. It's on all streaming platforms. Check it out.
Yes.
Well,
thank you. Sure. That wasn't that hard, Calvin.
It feel weird. It feel weird. Like, hey, I'm validating myself. What it feel like?
That's what
you should do. That's good. That's a good thing. Confidence.
Yeah. You know what else I did? No, I'm just fucking.
Oh, tell us more. Yeah, but moving on. So we're gonna get into this first topic. I can't wait to hear what your feedback is, Calvin. But getting into the first topic. Now, as we get older, listen, mature audience, right? You start living with your, you get married or you start living with your spouse. Life starts happening, jobs, things like that. Sorry, y'all. I'm popular. Just kidding. Sorry. No, but just like as we get older in our relationships, there's this discussion about dependency. So how much time do you guys believe spending with your partner is considered normal? Outside of like time where you're not actually doing anything together. Like obviously if you're sleeping in a bed together, that's not like you sleep here, you live here. But I mean like actually spending time with your partner via not at work and not sleeping.
Calvin, you go first, Calvin. What do you think about that? What do you think about in terms of like the amount of time you're spending quality time? Like some couples hang out all day, every day. They do every single thing together. Some couples, they might even live together, but they only really hang out together like quality time on weekends or, whatever. What do you think about that? And which times what amount of time as a man, as you, do you think is considered, just regular, normal for you?
I think if you live together, then I think a lot of that time could be kind of misconstrued because y'all live together. It's like, oh, remember that time we were sitting down watching TV and we ate? Like that's not really quality time. That's just proximity. Like we just live in the same house, so innately we eat. We around each other. But when you say quality time, like we actually made plans to go out and do something. I think that's kind of I don't have a specific time on it, but I feel like at least a night or two a week, outside the house. And then when you're in the house, just being kind of like mindful or intentional about like, oh, on this night we watch this together, or if we whatever it is that y'all choosing to do, it's just the intention behind that time that y'all spending together. So I can't say like, oh, it has to be. I think it's the intention behind the time that y'all spend together. And
what if your person intentionally wants to spend like all their free time with you? What do you think about that?
I'm a loner. I like to be by myself. Like even in a relationship, like I have to have like my own like time and space. So like when I'm like just if I want to go do something by myself, I want to go. So I like doing things by myself, especially like being a comedian. Sometimes I travel and I'm on the road by myself. I'm used to being by myself. But no, I would prefer that the other person have some type of business or they own business.
Something to do. Something to do, huh?
Find some business. Yeah. You gotta be something you like to do. You got some friends or something, so go do that.
Okay. And I there are couples that spend every moment together. They do everything together. And I don't know. I just feel like that is weird. And I feel like there's a certain level of codependency in that. And then you feeling like you need to be with your partner all the time, or anything that you do, your partner needs to be there. I think it's very healthy to have separate time where you're just with your friends, she's just with her friends, and you can decompress away from that person. It doesn't mean that you don't love them and care about them and want to spend time with them and want to do things with them. I just think that it's healthy to be, and like, I like missing, your person. Like, not that like being around them too much makes it old, but like, I don't know. It doesn't make it old, but like you don't want it to ever get too like, what's the word? That's not old.
Routine? Are you looking for routine? Are you looking for routine?
Yeah. You don't want it to get too routine, or you don't want it to get like, you want to keep a certain level of like yearning in it. And I feel like when you take some time away from each other and you have time to miss each other, then you feel that yearning, and it makes like that spark when you come back together, like even more fire, versus like, I'm with you every day. We have breakfast together every day, and we have dinner together every night. And we're together all day on the weekends. Like, no.
I don't think that count. I don't think that count. I think it depends on the people. That's how I feel like. I mean, I don't think there's no prescribed time that somebody. I feel like if you got two people, it's like I really ain't got no friends. You ain't got no friends. And, you know, some people just best friends. Some people just best friends in their relationship, and they just like,
yeah, that's
we
yeah,
take it hard.
okay.
Like, this is my best friend. It's also you know, my girlfriend. But you know, I do think people should have. You have to have something going on for yourself. Like, I don't ever want to be somebody's sole source of happiness. I don't ever want to be like if I'm gone, it's just like, you depressed. It's like, no, go do your own thing.
And sometimes it's not even just like with friends, or, you know, sometimes the person's, you know, other things could be hobbies or whatever it may be, you know, anything else that they're interested in, so that, like, you know, the pressure of someone else's happiness is not just on one person, or someone else's entire fulfillment in life is not just on one person. I think that pressure can become a lot for some people. And sometimes that can grow to feelings of just resentment for some people. If you feel like you're trapped, like, oh my goodness, I can't do anything without this person, they can't do anything without me. Like, I think that sometimes that can cause issues for some people. But like you said, Calvin, it depends on the people, and certain things, to me too, they don't count. Like, you know, having breakfast, like if you live in the same place, doesn't necessarily count. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I guess it doesn't.
You guess? I guess you don't.
Kayla, I mean, to me, it depends on like what kind of breakfast that you're having. Because like for me, I don't really have like a real breakfast all the time. Like I throw some eggs in the boiler, and I throw a croissant in the toaster, and I kind of just eat, like, and I'm gone, like, you know, or whatever. So if I'm taking the time to like make a breakfast and sit down and have breakfast with you, that is a thing. Well, especially if I cooked and I took the time to put together, like, do my French toast and do my, you know, my quiche, and, you know, that's a thing.
It only count on your terms. That's the only time. Like,
no, it counts on his as well. If he does the breakfast and I get up and he does the breakfast.
I get what you mean. You're talking about like a
like, oh, this is so sweet, and like we having a moment together. Then I think that counts. But like, if we're just like, he's making his oatmeal, you making your coffee,
and you're eating cereal somewhere, like, it's just,
bye, babe, I'm going to work. That does not count as like having breakfast together. Not to me anyway. Like,
but is that an understanding, or is it just like, oh, you saw me with the knife and the fork, you knew what it was? You see what I'm saying?
Nah, for me, I'm a busy person, and you know, he's a busy person. So when we're together, we may be together, but we may not be like actually interacting. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're on your phone, I'm on my phone, or I'm on the computer and you're on your phone, or we're talking, but in between our conversation, your phone's constantly ringing. You know what I mean? Like, we're not really actually having like quality time. We're just both like here, and like, we like, you know, I like that, because like when you feel comfortable with someone, you could just be around them and like you don't need to be engaging with them. That's what you want. That like you just feel comfortable like sitting here and like we're just in silence, but like I feel comfortable because you're in the space. So
doing things separately together.
Yes. So that to me doesn't count though. Like, it doesn't count until we're sitting and like we do our no phone thing and we are interacting. That is what counts. So that could be a breakfast made at the house, or a go out breakfast, or that could be a lunch or a dinner at the house, or a go out dinner. But it's about like, is there like the moment? Just like if you, for your girl, like she came home and like you literally just got an $8 roses from the Trader Joe's, right? And you lined the roses down the hall. You kept one to give her, right? And you lined the rest down the hall, and you even bought food and put it on y'all plates and set it, you know what I mean, with the wine glasses. And she came home like that. You said 8 roses. Then she came in the house and you give her the 1 rose and say, baby, I'm so happy that you're home. I made dinner for us, even if you bought it and just put it on y'all plates or whatever. And then y'all go sit down and y'all have like that's a moment. So but that's still like quality time with your partner, versus like if after work you went to happy hour with your friend and she went to happy hour with hers. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so Calvin was down there taking notes, Kayla.
That's something cute that girl would love, that costs $8, and then whatever the cost of the food. It's just you taking the time to set it up and make it look like something.
So let me ask you this. So what's obviously, like you said, like you like being separate but together, right? We doing our own thing, but we in the same space. We just love it, you know, just energy of being around. At what point for you, because you're saying you and your guy busy, at what point does it turn into like, yo, we need to do something? or we haven't done anything, what makes that switch click in your head? Like, yo, we need to go do something. Like, I feel like we ain't did nothing.
I don't know when the switch clicks, but whenever it clicks, then I express that, and then we do that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know, like at what time frame. It's something like you feel, you know, even if it's just like a Saturday morning and like we both have on like joggers and we just go down to like the harbor and get coffee, like on the thing, and like walk. You know what I'm saying? Like that is still like, you know, like even if that only took us 30 minutes because we were so busy, but we just needed to like do something to get away, like that could be still considered something. But like just whenever you feel it, like I don't know, or maybe when one is experienced like frustration or hardship in the in whatever work they're doing or whatever, and it's like, yo, let's take a break and let's go spend some time and just like, you know, like I said, get coffee or go do something really quick. And like, so I don't know if like I don't know if there's like a buildup or something. I mean, I guess there could be.
What do y'all think? What do y'all think about? And Calvin, we'll go to you first. What do you think about partners who don't live together? You know, that are grown, that have careers, that have, you know, all these things. Do you think there's a reasonable amount of time that like should be spent together per week, like the amount of days or something? Like, would you expect to see your mate on like a daily basis? Would you expect to just hear from them on a daily basis? Or are you the type that's like, you know what? I haven't heard from her in 4 days. It's all good. Probably by Friday, she might hit me up.
4 days.
Hey, if 4 days go by,
I've heard some people that are cool with that, which I can't understand. I would be concerned.
We ain't together.
I'm single on the 5th day.
Exactly. I'm about to say we're not together.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a long time. But some people are cool with that. They're just like, you know what? I'm not, but some people are.
What levels?
I definitely think that if you don't live with somebody, y'all should at bare minimum speak to each other every day. Good morning, and at the end of the night, you know, just kind of like a day recap. 7 days in a week, I feel like 3 days y'all should spend some type of time together. Spend the night, sleep over here there, or you know, we going out on the weekend, but I come over because I do understand, like when you don't live with somebody, y'all schedules, you know, depending on what you do and hours of work, it might not mesh. But again, I think it's always about intention. What's your, you know, being intentional about spending time and being with somebody to make it worthwhile. Because if I'm not talking to you day after day after day, then it's just like, what are we doing?
Right. Like checking in once per.
Some kind of communication. Like even if like in the morning y'all text, but then y'all talk at night, or you know, I don't know. I feel like there needs to be some type of communication, whether it's
absolutely
texting or talking or something. Like you need to be communicating with that person every day.
Absolutely. I think so too. I don't think that's unreasonable at all to, you know, think that you should talk to your mate daily. Like a mate that this is talking about mates that you're serious with, not just someone who you might, you know, be just talking to early on.
Yeah, or just like
someone who you're serious with, you know, absolutely a daily basis. There should be some talking going on. In terms of like that time spent though, like together, I don't know. I guess I like Calvin, what you were saying was cool. It was like, you know, maybe we'll meet up on the weekend or maybe we'll do this or that throughout the week. I think that is very dependent on the couple and the people. Like some people have more time than others. I think it only becomes an issue when one person is more okay with being apart. And then the other person is like, wait, why? And then they, you know, there's like this uneven distribution of, attention or quality time management, whatever you want to call it. So what do y'all think about that? Like when it's uneven, and of course communication is key.
It's the start of the end.
Yeah,
it's the start of the end. I was thinking about this because the other day I was watching like Love is Blind, and one of the couples that got married, she's like a stay-at-home kind of person, and he's like a go-out person. So like it's a Tuesday, and he's like, oh, what you? He's like, what you doing? What you doing tonight? He's like, oh, I'm going to some place, and then she's like, it's a Tuesday, and he's like, it's Taco Tuesday, and she's just like, okay, and I'm like, ooh, they only been together for a couple of months. I see this going bad because like, you know, I don't know. I just feel like especially in the new relationship, if you're not willing to compromise and they're not willing to compromise with you, and like what y'all need to do, to me, that just sounds like the beginning of the end, because eventually the person that likes to stay at home is going to start drama because you like to go out, or you're going to start drama because she don't want to come with you. And it's just like, it's going to be a thing.
Yeah, I think that comes up with the vetting process. Like, you know, when you're first starting to get to know someone, you know, you try to see if you're kind of on the same wavelength in terms of that. Like, if you just love to go out all the time, you're probably not even going to, I mean, let me not say that, because different people are attracted to different things.
That's what I'm saying. There are people that like,
so I'm not going to say that like definitively, but I definitely think that just how can you handle that? How do you deal with that? It's part of the vetting process. Like, if you can't handle a person that stays home, or you can't handle a person that goes out, like, that's something that needs to kind of be noticed and addressed in the beginning, and then, you know, move accordingly based on that.
Yeah,
I'm a homebody. Like, I don't go out. I don't club. Like, I do comedy at night, and sometimes, you know, I stay out late, like hanging out doing comedy, but not crazy. Like, I come home, like, but I don't drink, don't smoke, don't, you know, I'm not in the club. But if you like to go out and party, I'm not tripping about that. Go out, have fun, do your thing. But I always, for me, in order for me to feel okay about it, not that it's my, you know, my decision about what you do, but I think it's like, as long as you think about me at some point, like, you know what, I went out 2 nights in a row. Let me not go out tonight. Let me just chill. You know what I'm saying? I think that's important too, like, to just be mindful of, because I know I'm a homebody. If you ask me to do something, I'm going to say yes, even though my natural inclination is to be like, nah, I'm cool. I don't want to. I'll say yes because it's just like, I know I sit around. I don't like going out. So I think it's always also just being mindful, like, you know what, let me do this, you know, for the other person, you know. And it's not.
I don't know. I feel like in your profession, like anyone that has a problem with you going out, like, they just can't be with you, because as a comic, if you want to grow and if you want to be big, like, you need to go out, you need to go to other comic shows, you need to go talk to people, you need to be in the mix and like getting to know who's who and what's happening. So if she's gonna have an issue with you going out 2-3 times a week to do that, again, like I said, it sounds like the beginning of the end. But if she's like cool with it and like she don't care, she go to sleep and you come home when you come home, you can make that work, I guess. Because like me, I'm not waiting up for you. I'm going to sleep. You get in here whenever you get in here. I'm going to sleep.
No,
if it were me, is what I'm saying. Like,
Calvin, what do you think about, so, you know, as a person who is in, you know, into, you know, you're a comedian and you're out late nights and all this type of stuff, but that's like, you know, your job, you love it, but it's work. But it's still kind of the nightlife scene. You know what I'm saying? So, you don't have to use your own personal experience, but just how do you feel coming from that point of view? If a woman's like, well, you're out, you know, every night, you know, why do you just want to sit at home when I want to go out? Like, that type of thing. How would you have that type of conversation with someone if they presented it to you in that way?
Well, I mean, if the person knows me, like I said, I don't drink. So if I go to, if you talk about going out, we going out to eat or something like that, that's understandable. If you saying like, oh, you want to go to a club, you want to dance, I have a different awareness when I'm out in a club or in a setting with people that's drinking, and their mind, you know, when you drink, you just more relaxed. Like, you're not tripping over little shit. Like, that's how, I don't mean to curse. Can I curse? Yeah.
You can totally curse. It's fine.
So when a motherfucker ain't, no, I'm just playing.
You have to test it out to make sure.
You got to go high and then scale it back. You don't start.
Right.
No, but when I go out, if you understand it about me, like, if I'm going out, I'm literally in a comedy club. I'm performing. I like being around comedy. So I'm hanging out in the comedy club. What's the worst that can happen in the comedy club? And when I'm done at the comedy club, I'm coming home. But when you're asking me to go out, you're saying, hey, can you go to a setting where you are very aware around a bunch of people that aren't unaware? So like, if we going out and we hanging out, it's like literally, like, when I go out, like if I'm in another city and it's comics, they're like, oh, let's go hang out after. Like, I'm literally in the club, like sitting down, and it's people, you know, you drink, you're not thinking, I'm like this, you bumping into me, you stepping on my shoes. I'm like, they loud to me. You can't really.
You're like, I'm ready to go home.
Bro, you, I'm not going with you.
But that's what I'm saying. So if you
relax,
and that's what I'm saying. I'm trying. If I'm sitting there and you like, hey, I like the DJ, it's like, yo, I can't. It's too much. It's too much going on. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not. I've never been a club person. But if you saying, hey, let's go to the movies, let's go to a play, let's go to like some entertainment, like we watching something and we actually.
Yeah, so you're just saying you don't like to party, and that's cool.
I'm not a party.
And people who don't like to party should not, because like.
You like to party. I see it in your face. Go ahead.
No. What I'm saying is like, because there are times that I do feel that way and times that I don't. But when I am in that mood to do that, and I've decided, and we pregame, and that's what we're doing, and then you get here and you want to be, I can't do this with you.
I don't
like you chill over here, and then when it's time to go, like we can re.
But also, I've been in relationships. I've been in relationships where like my the person I'm with. Like they go out and they get drunk, they party, they have a hey, live your life, have a good time, and they come home and it's just and it's just like now I have to deal with you. I got to deal with you in this state, and it's just like
you're like I don't like any part. You don't like any part of it.
What? But that night now you're making this assumption that every time you go out and get lit, that means you're like sloppy.
No. It's not about sloppy. What you just said. You pregame. You got pre-drunk before you like you got. Because the drink's high when you get there, so you're gonna get a little loose before you leave. Do your thing, but then you're gonna go there and you still gonna be drinking, and then when you come home, it's all gonna be meshed together. And now,
and then it's gonna get popping. What's the problem?
Now you talking to me at club volume in the house.
Club volume.
You talking to me at
club volume? Oh my
gosh!
It's
Where
like
you at?
If your girl goes out to brunch and she goes to bottomless mimosas, you really have an issue with her coming home being drunk, being like, babe. Like that's the problem.
Listen, I'm not tripping. I'm not tripping about that. What you feeling like? I'm not.
I'm sure you're gonna participate.
No, I'm
whatever you're doing.
I'm definitely gonna participate.
But I'm sure you're gonna be down.
And when she fall asleep for 4 hours after that, it's gonna be so peaceful. It's gonna
be. Yes, it will be. She's gonna be knocked out.
I'm not. I feel like you feel like I'm judging the alcohol. Like, I have no your thing. Like, no, like for real. Like when I love doing comedy, I love performing. When I'm going out doing comedy, I don't ever want to have any hard feelings about doing what I enjoy. If you like to go party, please go do your thing. Have a great time.
But do you think you're going to be compatible in a relationship with someone like that though? If you're with someone that likes to go out, blah, 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 but you don't really like to go out unless you're working, like how y'all going to make that work? I guess y'all could just spend time doing other things and she can go out with her friends and that'll be the time frame where that y'all not together. I
don't think there's any no hard stops where it's like, oh, if I'm with you, you can't never go out. Like, no, I prefer it. If that's what you enjoy doing. But if like it's also a thing where it's like if you go out and you coming in at 4 a.m, then that's I take issue with that. Where it's just like
right. I mean, that's different.
You left at 9, now it's 4 a.m. Like, yo.
Nah. That's totally different. That's like that's a whole other conversation.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying when I say like as long I don't have a problem with you doing what you're doing, but whenever I'm doing what I'm doing, I'm always mindful of, hey, am I being considerate of how she feels?
Right.
Even though I also like respectfully, like this is what I do, but hey, I just know, I'm gonna be out a little late. I'm gonna let you know I'm gonna be out a little later. And
just that consideration.
I know I went out 5 days this week, you know what I'm saying? So I know I'm gonna chill out tomorrow. So it's like just having that, like you said, consideration. But
yeah.
I'm not tripping about you pre-gaming. And
I'm sure that you guys will have plenty of quality time and you will make that quality time with her like good men do. I know when they are busy and successful, whatever, and they know they've been busy and they know they haven't been able to show you that attention, that they do take that time and they have that consideration and say, hey, yeah, I've been working a lot. Or I've been doing whatever a lot. Right. Let me take this time and like, love up on my boo.
Yeah, it's that consideration that you're talking about, just both ways. I'm with you with the clubbing thing though. Like, oh my goodness. Back like in undergrad, sign me up. Now, no, I cannot. But yeah, I definitely understand that, be considerate of your mate, know what kind of schedule they're on, what kind of schedule you're on, and say, I did this day. Maybe this day I can, do this with them and just make sure you're communicating.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that is like communication, the most important part of
that is the key
relationship. Yeah.
Because sometimes someone will act like it's okay. They're like, you know what? It's cool. Like someone might be like, oh, it's cool that you go out to the club every weekend when really they're at home. Like, man, I don't understand why this person is going to the club every weekend. And some people are like, it's cool that you're out every night working late and all this, but they don't like that. So like, even if something might not change, like with you, Calvin, your career is being out late on multiple nights. And for some people that wouldn't work for them. For some people, they would just have to know, like, look, you know, this is not going to work, because that could be like a huge issue that's constantly causing problems. But that's where that communication comes in. I think a lot of people try to push past those things that they know are their non-negotiables just to stay with someone that they like, which I understand it. I mean, we're human, we have feelings and all that. But sometimes it's just not going to work based on just differences between two people.
I was just going to say that, like, people should just be with people that they're compatible with, because when you're with someone that likes to do the same stuff that you like to do, it's actually fun. And you guys can be on the same energy and feel the same thing and be like, because this happened to me, and be like, we love going out, we love partying. And then like, tonight, what we're going to do? Look at each other. Yes, it's stay in night. Like, we just, you know what I mean? You become on the same kind of time with that person. So when you really find someone that you're like compatible with, then you don't even have to worry about like, oh, do I want to stay home, or do they want to go out, or blah blah blah. Like, you can mostly be on the same page with that person. So that's super dope part. But like, taking us into
I was
the next topic.
I don't want to be with a comedian. I don't think I want.
You don't want to be with a comedian?
No, I don't think I want to be.
Why not? That's interesting. Well, like, why not?
No, I like balance. Like, I don't want. Like, I feel like we should, like that Venn diagram, like we meet in the middle somewhere, but it's just like that yin and yang. Like, I feel like to me, I find balance in somebody that's not like me, because then that puts me in spaces where it's just like, oh, I can experience things in a different way versus just being like, oh, we doing the same thing. So for me, I don't feel like I'm growing. Like, if you went into reading and fitness and whatever it is, it's making me, and I'm interested. And I'm like, oh, let me try this out. I never even thought about that. So now it's changing. I'm learning and growing within a relationship.
Yeah,
most definitely. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. Being compatible with them, having good communication with them. Those are the things that are going to make sure that you have like a successful relationship. Now, what also comes into play that a lot of people like to act like doesn't, is the compatibility with your spouse's family, right? So a lot of people say when you marry someone, you marry their family. So that is our next question. When you marry, do you marry their family? Is getting along with their family important? That's just, we'll start with that, Calvin, and go from there.
I think it's two sides to that coin. On one hand, fuck their family. That's how I feel. On the other hand, it is important. It depends on their family structure, because to some people, their family have no say so in their relationship. And then some people, it's like, my family is important to me. We spend a lot of time together, and it's like, now you're integrating your life and your family into their family. So I feel like it's a two-sided coin. Personally, in my relationships, my family have never had no say so in it. I hope that they like them, and I wouldn't bring anybody around that I think would be disrespectful to the person I'm with, or vice versa, them to my family. So yeah, I would like for them to like each other, but I think when it comes down to it, the relationship is between me and you, and my job is to be the liaison between my family and you. If they don't like you and I love you, then that's just what it is, or they love you, and then that's what it is. But I don't feel like it's necessary for my family to be integrated into our relationship.
Yeah, because once you choose the person and you're having this relationship, can you see yourself being like, nah, her mom or whatever doesn't like me, so I guess I'll just back up. I mean, I think some people might have that point of view, but I agree with what you said. I think, you want, ideally to get along with your mate's family and for them to get along with yours. But at the end of the day, the relationship is between the two of you. So have you ever been in a situation where someone's family didn't like you?
Impossible. No, I've never had this situation. I feel like nobody I've been with, like my family always got along with who I was with. And I think also being mindful of like, I like this person and I wouldn't bring nobody around that I don't think would mesh well with my family.
Right.
And I wouldn't let nobody disrespect them and my family, and I wouldn't let them disrespect my family. I think that's very important. Like I said, you kind of like the middle ground where it's like you gotta keep everything in check. Like I shouldn't have beef with your family because you gonna put your family in check. Like, hey, and I would never disrespect nobody's family. So yeah, it is. You marry into a family, but also within that, when you with somebody, y'all also creating your own family.
Yeah.
And so it's like we married, we got kids and stuff like that. It's like this is our family. Everybody else is secondary, in my opinion.
So with that mindset as a man, because, usually men are the ones, in our society who propose and things like that. How do you feel about the whole, like, asking for the daughter's hand in marriage? Like, do you think that is necessary, or is it just like a formality? And if he says no, you're going to do it anyway. Like, what is the, what are your thoughts on that? Because
I never thought about that. I never thought about being like, hey, I want to marry your daughter. You're like, nah. All right, man. Well, I'm going to get it. Like, I've never even thought about that. I think respectfully as a man, like if the woman that I want to marry has a good relationship with her father and he's important to her, then yes, respectfully, I'll go to him and tell him my intentions and be like, hey, I'm going to marry your daughter. You know what I'm saying? And
so you wouldn't like ask?
I mean, how do you ask? Like,
I don't know.
This ain't 18th century. I like to bequeath your daughter.
Yeah, but it's not about that. It's just wanting to have their blessing. Obviously, they can't really tell you what you can do, but right. You just want to have their blessing. Like for me, it would very much hurt if my parents didn't give me their blessing. I could still do it. They will still be there. They will still support me, but and them telling me they have their blessing, meaning they approve and they are proud of the decision that I have made. You know what I'm saying? So that's all that I'm saying, that when you asking my dad would just be you like, hey, you rock with me. I'm going to take care of your daughter, blah, 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 blah. Can I have your blessing? Like that is what it's about more so than like.
So when you see,
especially because my dad like has like a, a little fund for the wedding. And I mean, we want to get that. So let's get the blessing.
No, okay. Definitely. So
I'm just saying, I want that money. So
no, that's why you want the blessing. You want the that's what you want.
No.
I know, I got you.
My mom's blessing is the most important, but like, no, I want both my parents' blessing.
No,
I really do. I want them to support and know that like I want to know that in their heart they're happy with the decision that I've made.
That's definitely reasonable. Like for sure, that's the ideal situation. You want both families to be happy, for the people that are coming together in a union. I always just wonder though, like, if a man, asks for someone's daughter's hand in marriage and they've already, started picking out colors for the wedding and invitation designs and whatnot. And then they're just like, you know what? I don't think so. Like, what do you do at that point?
Right. So does your father like, yeah, y'all can get married, but you're not getting his money. I can't help you with that part.
Well, not about the money, because a lot of Black people's families don't even really,
That's another conversation.
Definitely a different conversation.
But I mean, don't you ask before the engagement, or you say you ask before the wedding?
No. So what I'm saying is because y'all kind of switched the word up. When you say ask for hand in marriage, I'm thinking 40s, 30s. I want to marry your daughter. You heard the man. He here to marry you. You go here, take her. You know what I'm saying? But when you say blessings, you say the word blessings. Like, hey, I think, like I said, respectfully, if I want to go to your parents, like, hey, these are my intentions. I want to marry your daughter. I would love that. Like that, definitely, absolutely. Where it's just like, you know what, you're a good guy. You come around, you treat her right. All like, whatever that conversation is, understandable. But in my mind, when you said ask for a hand in marriage, I'm thinking like, can I marry your daughter? He like, yes, you can. Get out of my house. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of. No, it definitely is. It is important. Like, I think respectfully. So, question for y'all. So, what do women do? Like, y'all get married. Do y'all have any responsibility to the dude parents? Take y'all time.
I have the responsibility of ensuring that his mother likes me. Like, that's it. I have a responsibility of ensuring that I've impressed his mother enough that she knows that I will take care of her son in all the ways that she's taking care of him. So that's important, but I'll know that long before he proposes. And if he's like a certain type of man, then he'll want that too before he even like thinks about proposing.
Right.
Go ask my mama for my hand in marriage.
You want me to ask your mama for your hand in marriage?
Is it okay if your son asks me to marry him? I feel like it's only fair.
You're about that equality, huh?
When a man asks, "Hey, I want your hand in marriage. I'm presenting you with a symbol of my love. I'm going to cherish and honor and take care of you." That's a lot of weight to carry. And y'all just,
I would do that after you pop the question. Then I probably would like brief with your mother for your wedding present or something like that.
He wants it to be even. He's like, look, go ask my mom if I can ask you so that it's even, right?
Put yourself out there like I put myself out there.
What?
And I want
me to ask your mom if you can ask me to marry you.
Are you cool with your son marrying me?
Are you cool?
And if she say no, then we're gonna have to postpone things.
Wow.
She gonna pay the retainer on the banquet hall. She got a retainer for the banquet hall, money set aside. So if your
mama got money for the wedding.
She got a retainer.
She just the retainer.
She gonna put down
what does that mean?
She's not gonna pay it. She just
part that you get to hold it. You put the bill down.
So she's gonna put the deposit down on the
deposit.
venue.
Yeah, she gonna put the deposit. She ain't got all the money.
That's what she's promised you. That whenever you get married, that she'll do the deposit. That's what she's promised you.
And she's gonna do the flower arrangements.
And the flower arrangements. Okay, mama. Flower arrangements expensive. So yes, mama. Okay. That works. I'm sure any wife would love that. But I mean, no, in all seriousness, I don't really think that there's much to do because like you're asking me to be your wife. I'm not asking you anything.
Oh,
I'm just giving you a response and letting you know either yes, I'm gonna do it or no, it is not a good fit, you know?
That's kind of like sound kind of like shitty a little bit. Like you asked me to do this. I didn't ask you for that.
I'm never gonna ask a man to marry me. That's never gonna happen. So
I ain't asked for this.
You got down on the knee, face parallel with the vagina, and you asked me to be you pledged to me and the vagina that I will only be with you guys.
And the what?
I will not.
I'm talking to you. Will you shut up? I'm talking.
No, I'm just playing. I'm just trolling. But no, in all seriousness, you propose to me. Hypothetically, you propose to the woman, and she has to accept. You are saying, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to protect and provide from you and keep you safe. And then you're going to her father and say, can I have your daughter's hand in marriage? I care about her. I love her. I would die for her.
Oh, shit. Let me ask you this.
Why did you say that when she said that?
He said,
I would die for you?
Yes. As a husband, if you don't ask your wife, don't be nobody's husband. Don't be
Wait a minute,
husband.
Calvin. Hold on.
Listen,
we got to clear this up right now. Calvin, we got to clear this up right now because the way that you just, when she said
that laundry list of things that I would love, cherish, honor, protect, take care of, die. I ain't asked for this shit. You asked me to do. That's what you see the difference. You asked me to do this shit.
That is what Kayla basically said earlier. She's like, "Look, I'm not doing anything."
Touche, Negro. Touche.
But this okay. So, do you understand? I think that this is. I feel like it has to do with the woman's ego. When you say like a woman proposing a man, I imagine, Kayla, that is the most disgusting thing in the world to you. A woman proposing to a man. Possibly.
No, I'm not saying that at all. Women that have done it, I'm praying for you.
You talk about some. I mean, people have done it. You know what I'm saying? People bungee jump. I mean,
I just believe that
some people
the precedence is started that way, and if you start the precedence with saying, "Will you marry me? Will you get on my program?" I don't know. Where's the marriage going?
So
it's weird.
Calvin, would you be okay? What if a woman proposed to you? And I'm not saying that a woman has never, I don't know your situation, but like, let's just say hypothetically, a woman is proposing to you. What would you feel any kind of way? Like, would you just be like, oh, okay?
I would definitely say no.
You would say no,
If
even
a
if you
woman
loved her?
proposed to me, even if I loved her, because I do feel like because this was messed up, because we're in this weird time where we talk about gender roles and what people supposed to do, and then we'll talk about mental health and setting standards mutually. Like, oh, you don't say this is my wife, you say this is my partner. So it's like things are okay to be even, and then there's certain things where it's just like we get to tilt the scale in our favors when it's convenient for us. To me personally, no, I wouldn't want to be proposed to. I think as a man, a lot of times when men propose, they're making a conscious effort to actually like man up. Like, I'm making a conscious effort to be with this person. Societally, people always say women are more mature and they know what they want right away. And I'm not saying that's true, but in society, so a lot of times a woman may be married and a man may not be married. So for a woman to propose, it's like asking somebody, hey, do you want this job that you're not, applying for? You see what I'm saying?
That is a really good point, because in my opinion, I
You're
think that
recruiting.
in my opinion, a lot of times women are ready before men.
Mm-hmm.
And in order for it to go smoothly, in my opinion, I think the man has to be ready. And if he's ready, he's going to ask, So I think that can cut out a lot of problems for some people, in my opinion. Again, there are people who have the situation where women proposing is fine. But from my experience, my observation and all that, I think that the man really has to be ready. And that means it's on his time. And then it's up to the woman whether she is, sticking around for that amount of time, or if she's not sticking around for that amount of time.
Do y'all think?
I don't know about that. Go ahead, Kayla.
Is it female ego, the vulnerability? Because for a woman to be like get down, or however y'all go about proposing, to get down and be like, will you marry me? It's a level of vulnerability and rejection that I don't think y'all used to at all.
Listen,
I get what you're saying. The way me and Kayla,
like, what is she going through? Right? Like, no. But what I was gonna say is, Kay, I don't know if I agree with that, because, well, in this generation maybe, but in like the older, more mature.
Well, yeah, I mean, times have definitely
men that are 40s, 50s, like before we got to this place with the adoption syndrome or whatever. Mm-hmm. I feel like, yes, sometimes men got married when they're ready, but also sometimes men got married when they found the one, even if they weren't ready. You know what I'm saying? Like, very similar. I've heard multiple people say, like, they never met nobody like her, and they, whatever. And maybe they wasn't ready, but it was like, she was just like, what are you doing? And he's just like, I'm not losing her. So this is what I got to do to keep her. This is what I'm going to do.
So like, they made themselves ready real quick. Like, okay.
Like y'all, like women, and I've
had is that an ultimatum? Is that
yes?
An ultimatum?
I was just gonna say that I've had multiple discussions with very young women about their like fear in giving men ultimatums, and I'm trying to understand why. Like, obviously, we're not on date 5, and you're like, "Are we getting married?" No, but like, you've been in a relationship 2-3 years with a man, and you think that you don't have the right to ask this man for an ultimatum when he's taking you off the market, but not really, by being in this relationship. Like, no, I have every right to be like, well, what are we doing?
As the man here
in the next year or what? Because
as the man here, like, give your perspective about that ultimatum. Because I think men and women view that very differently sometimes. So what is your perspective, your honest perspective, as a man, in terms of ultimatums about marriage and whatnot?
I think because based on just within the conversation that we already had, we talk about the weight that is placed on a man's shoulder when you get down on the knee and ask a woman to marry you. I'm gonna take care of you. Am I able to take care of you? Am I able to do all the things that I need to do as a husband? So I think internally as a man, it's like, you know what? I love you. I want to be with you. It's just like, I'm just not there yet, because the moment I put that ring on your finger, there's a level of expectations that may change. And now it's just like, you're my husband. You supposed to do these things. And I think that weighs on a man, maybe subconsciously, where it's just like, damn, I love you. Like, everything going good. You know what I'm saying? Why do we want to put this, horse and carriage on my back to pull? And I'm just not prepared for that. So I think when you give somebody an ultimatum, it's just like you saying, hey, are you going to do everything I need you to do, because clearly you're ready to do it. But it's like, it's tough. It's tough because I think when you talk about, Black love, sometimes Black people, we get married because we love each other. White people, they get married for financial reasons. You know what I'm saying? Hey, this makes sense on paper. I like you enough. We can combine, we can build. But like Black people, we get married for love, and we find out a lot of times that love ain't enough, and things start to fail. So I think as a man, yeah, I want to be ready mentally, because it's a level of, because I mentioned like gender roles and what people bring to a relationship, but I also think for me, I'm very loose with gender roles, not being like I want to be taken care of. I don't ever want to be taken care of by a woman, but at the same time, I don't have expectations of a woman like, oh, you're supposed to cook, you're supposed to clean, you're supposed to do this. Is like, no, you're your own person. Let's come in this together and create this tapestry of what our relationship looks like, and then we go off that. But to come in and just be like, no, you're supposed to do this. If you're gonna be my wife, you're gonna do these things. You like, well, that's not, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm supposed to do this. You ain't asked for it, but I also got some demands on the list too, and you just like, oh, I didn't know I was doing that. You see what I'm saying? So it's I think it's a case by case basis, but in general, I think men just not prepared for what the responsibility all the time that comes with being a husband.
Yeah, I think so many times, and Kayla, you're on mute. I think so many times, men or women, anyone can be forced into a situation that they didn't necessarily, I guess, agree to or like sign up for. And then they'll, be in it, but then over time, it's going to cause a lot of issues. So it's just like, you have to ask yourself, all right, you can give someone an ultimatum, and sometimes it might work. Sometimes it'll be fine and everything will be good. But based on like divorce rates and even just the rates of relationships that fail, which is even higher than divorce rates, in terms of marriage, I think a lot of times those ultimatums and just things like that lead to problems. They lead to resentment. They lead to, oh, I didn't know this about you. I didn't know this about you, because you were trying to put on some kind of show for someone so that you could fit into whatever mold, they wanted you to fit into. So Kayla, when you brought up the ultimatum thing, I'm like, all right, I get it. Like, if a woman has her own boundary, like, you know what, I'm not going to be here if this is not the path that we're on. Or a man can have that boundary as well.
Yeah.
But in terms of like trying to, get that from someone based on that ultimatum, I think that's not a good way to go, because some people might love you so much or might not want to lose you or whatever, that they might try to fit into something that they're just not ready for. And then, like I said, problems will arise.
Yeah, but you know what? If they're just not ready, then they just aren't the one. I'm not talking about after.
And that's the boundary situation.
I'm not talking about we've been talking for 3 months, we've been together for 6 months. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about years you've been in a relationship with someone, and you basically, especially if you live with them, like, I don't. Y'all know my feedback on that. I don't really do that, but especially if you're living with them, I'm trying to understand that we're already doing everything that married people do, except for getting the tax benefits. So what is it that is the actual reason? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I just feel like as a woman, you have every right to give a man an ultimatum. We don't have unlimited time. And if you don't know in 3 years, that's long. That's even long. Really, honestly, that's even long. I feel like after a year and a half is like, as a grown person, not at like 21 years old, but like as a person in their 30s.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
If you don't know what's going on after like 15 months,
I agree with that.
I'm like, bro.
I agree with that. I think, like you said, the older you get, the quicker you can know, certain things. I definitely agree. What
does marriage mean to y'all? Because I mean, we having a conversation about marriage. You talking about everything going good. We living together. Everything is going. So what does marriage mean to you?
Well, for me, just like answering the question, when you marry, do you marry their family? I absolutely believe you marry their family. So not only are you with me, you have a second family, my parents, my siblings. Like, these are people there. My team is your team now. and your team is mine, there's a certain level of respect, loyalty, and duty that you have to me, to my family, and that I have to you and yours, and the family that we create together. So I think it's much bigger than love and lust, and it's much bigger than like, attraction. I think that those are parts that need to be there, but the main thing is that you being completely compatible with someone. They're going where you're going. You guys can see a future where you both align. Mm-hmm. And then, value systems are in the same space. And then to top it off, they're fine. They look good. So there's all, it makes it all great. But that's what I really think marriage is. It's about more than just your feelings. Because there's going to be days that you really don't feel like doing none of that. It could be more than days. It could be weeks. It could be a year. It could have just been, you could just have a bad year. But again, the respect, the honor, the duty that you have is how you stay in and you stick it out. You figure it out. Yep. But you made a decision that like, this person's my best friend. This person's the best partner for what we're building. And especially if you're a woman that you feel like you can trust them, that if something does go wrong, I'm with the kind of man that'll figure it out and make a way. So, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I guess what I'm saying is like if we're in a relationship, let's say we together 2.5, 3 years, everything going great. And it's like, all right, we need to get married. And I get what you're saying, where it's just like literally the notch of our lives is like going from here to here because we already doing those things. It already exists. And now we just more, cement it. Do you have a fear of that you could possibly waste time the longer you stay in a relationship and y'all not married? That it becomes like the possibility of it ending? Does that change like in your mind? Like, oh, I've gave this person 3 years and like if they decide to leave, I lost all that time.
No, I don't believe that. Because if you did 3 years that didn't work, why would I want to do 3 more?
You know what?
And that's not going to where I wanted to go. Why? Like if I lost that time, I took the L. Chuck it up to the game. It's like people that have a business and the business is not doing well. And like, why would you keep feeding into this dying business that's sucking money? Why not just write it off, start something else that could possibly be successful? I don't know. I don't believe in like.
That's a good question, Calvin, because I think a lot of times, sometimes that people do say, you know what? We've been together this long, and so I'm not trying to start over. Like, I think that people do that for sure. I've heard stories of that. Like, I know it's at least a thing that some people do, where you're with someone for some long amount of time, usually over 4 or 5 years, more than that. And it's just like, man, we're going to try to make this work. But I mean, making it work is a big part of marriage, but I don't know. Like, I think that if you're, like Kayla said earlier, if you're together with somebody for a certain amount of time past a certain age, I think a lot of times, people know earlier on. I'm not going to say like, it's 10 years down the line and now you finally know. Like, why does it take 10 years? So when people say that, in my opinion, I just think that, they're just maybe doing other things and the marriage situation is not their priority. And that's just different people's life and priorities. But then it's up to the person in that situation to create that boundary for themselves and say, you know what? I'm not going to stick around for 10 years.
Well, I think it depends on what the person has gotten, though. What the person has gotten off of that investment. Because I did this. I don't usually write on comments, but I wrote in the comment section on a YouTube couple that I follow that have been together going on 6 years, and they have a baby. And the conversation comes up of like they're literally building $1 million house. They have thousands of dollars in jewelry, clothes, cars, all these things. And I'm literally like, yo, like every time the question comes up, I'm like, why you don't get married? He says, it's some bullshit to me. He says, there's no right or wrong way to do things. Yes, there is. Then he says like, I got to get it together. I want it to be spectacular. I want it to be perfect. So, that's, I don't want it to just be thrown together. So what are you saying? Somebody that proposes in something small and intimate is not as valuable? That it has to be this big thing for it to be what she deserved. You know what I mean? All of this is excuses. It's all bullshit because he just did a video buying a $50,000 Rolex. I'm like, bro, really?
Wait,
and then
who?
you know what I mean? She just had
This
your
sounds
baby.
personal. This sounds like some people you know.
Like,
Kayla, is this people you know?
Don't make sense.
Kayla, are these some of those your friends?
No, these are not friends. These are just these are just YouTube couples that I've been following for years. Okay. And it's like it's always the same thing when it comes to the Black YouTube couples. But the white YouTube couples, they get married.
Why do you think
girls they get married? And yet you have the Black couples 5 years, 6 years, no ring, yet have enough of everything that you could need to do. Like, don't tell me you don't have the money or the time or any of this stuff for a wedding. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what is it in the Black community where it's this pushback about it? And that's I just don't get that, especially when you've built something with somebody. Y'all both, a lot of them start off with nothing. You know what I mean? And build multi-million-dollar businesses. And y'all built this whole foundation in life together. And yet you're still saying like, you know, we get to the wedding, like, you know, whenever, like, oh, there's no right or wrong time. And, oh, I gotta make it special because she's a queen and she deserves something special. And I'm thinking like, so the backyard wedding that the other couple did, that the white couple did, that wasn't special? Like, what are you saying? You know what I mean? Like, that was special. It doesn't have to cost $500,000 for it to be special. Like, so to me, that's just excuses.
I'm a big proponent of you got to see it to be it sometimes. And I think the understanding of what it takes and what it means to be in a relationship, especially like a committed relationship, and then also being married to somebody, that's something that you have to see and have an understanding of, like what it takes. And when you don't, or you don't know, like my parents, I have a mother and father. My mother has a stepfather, and I also have a stepmother. They've been together since I was kids, and those relationships were rough because they were together at a young age. You know what I'm saying? And for me, it was just like my understanding of relationships is like you just be with somebody for a long time, and then eventually y'all just get married. Like, to me, my understanding of marriage, it wasn't like, oh, you have an intention, like this is the person I'm gonna be with, and this is it. So I think it's also that understanding of what marriage is. If you didn't understand, and that's both people coming into it. You know what I'm saying? Like, people like we all know people that have been together like our whole lives. Oh, we've been together since high school. They just been off and on whatever, and they never get married because it's just like the understanding of relationship is like, oh, if you with me, you with me. It ain't got nothing to do with no wedding. So I can't say that. I'm not saying that to excuse a dude buying a $50,000 Rolex and just being like, oh, I want it to be special. I agree that is some bullshit. It's like y'all live together, y'all getting money together. It's like it don't make sense. So but I do think a lot of times people, and now I'm older, I have an understanding of like, oh, I want to be married. I want to take on that responsibility of being a caretaker and all that shit. So,
you know, in our communities, in the Black community, I definitely think that strong families are the building blocks for strong neighborhoods, strong communities, and all of that. So I'm a huge, proponent of marriage and all these things, raising families together, doing all of this. Calvin, what do you think about how there is a sector, there are some men out here and some women, but I'm going to ask you about the men because you're a man. There are some men out here who talk about, Black men, just save yourself. I don't even know that there's like an acronym. There's like some letters that people say, but whatever. They basically say, don't get married. There's no benefit for men. What do you think about that?
Are you saying Black men? You saying men or Black men? I'm
saying, what do you think about the Black men? Because I think that, we as Black people have a very unique situation in this country, and, around the world, but we'll talk about this country. And, the family structure and all of that is just so important. And for people to be saying something about like, no, don't get married, don't do this, don't do that. It just makes me think, a certain way, that maybe that's a different conversation, but I'm just asking you, what do you think about Black men specifically, knowing our situation, knowing that like we need to get this family structure thing together, all of that. What do you think about the Black men who say not to get married?
I mean, I personally haven't heard that. I do think that it is a bit of a bit of a disconnect in terms of like black men and black women. Obviously, there are more women than men, so I think men, we now live in an age with social media that we know that there are a lot of women out there available, and they do exist. And now it's like the world has shrunk, and it's just like, oh, I have all these different options, and as a man, why would I just choose to be with this person right away and decide to spend my life? That's another thing in terms of dating. But I think with the even what you said just now, talking about like the family structure, how important it is to us, the building blocks of us.
Somebody said it, the acronym, that's what it is. Save yourself, black man. This is a thing that people actually say. Like, people like are really out here saying, yes, look how many people. It's all
so crazy because men that are married live longer. Men that are married save and have more money. Men that are married literally have like better quality of life. And like,
we talked about this on Thursday, John. People act like they didn't know what I was talking about.
I've never heard that before.
Shout outs to Mr. Palmer. What's up, bro? Make sure you hop up here during the calls if you can, or right now.
Black man.
Let's get him the link. Do you want the link, Mr. Palmer? You are welcome up here.
Yeah, because maybe we'll have a long session of callers tonight. So we can go ahead and get the link out and get people in the back. See what y'all have to say about this. We'll do one more topic before we bring y'all up. But like, definitely want to hear people's opinion. I really don't get it. I really don't understand it, because when I think about it, especially when I think about our community, and I'm thinking about our actual lives. Let me make my screen big right here. Okay. Our actual lives. I'm not talking about Kim and Kanye. Yeah, I'm not talking about celebrities. I'm talking about regular black men that make $50,000, $60,000 a year. If you don't think your quality of life will be better with a wife, that's nuts. Now, obviously, I'm not talking about some toxic, crazy situation that would be worse than being single, but I mean, from moderate to great. You know what I'm saying? Your life will definitely be better. A wife, what does the study say? Like, is it like 12 jobs that on average a wife does like 12 different jobs around her house that like people pay for as a service? So it's crazy that you like, even just from food, just to have someone to make food for you for free, or to clean for you for free, to pick up your dry cleaning, to run errands, to do things. Oh, hey babe, I'm out. Can you stop? Like, literally, it makes your life easier having a partner. And for men and women, having a husband makes your life way more easy. Like, hey, he gets to take on the big,
especially when you know they're gonna die for you. That's definitely like, you know, somebody gonna die. Like, come on, he gonna die for me. Why would I?
Well, that's his job to protect me. But if he does it right, then he won't have to, because he'll have set up provisions and set up protection in such a way that, you know, I mean, we can't guarantee when our day comes, but like, you know,
Calvin, I can't believe you feel this way about the whole die for you thing.
Yeah, he's really shocked about it.
Yes, when I saw the pure reaction, like your face when she said that, I knew it was like from the heart, like your reaction. No, and I was like, oh my goodness, what?
It was the way you said it. It was just the way you said it was so flippant. It was just like, yeah, you gonna die for me? Like, it was like, whoa, why? Why is that? Like, why can't that just be understood but not said? You know what I'm saying? Like, it feel like the expectation level there. But to your point, I think what we have here, we having a very educated discussion amongst minds, and a lot of times when you talk about, because I work with like young kids and after school programs, and it's all single mothers, and like kind of like fathers that come in and come out, you know, every once in a while. But our community is filled with single mothers. And to talk about like how relationships should be, it's just like, let's talk about emotional, you know, mental and emotional stability within oneself. Can these people be in healthy relationships? Can they so all the things that you're saying, like, oh, a woman would do this, a man would do this, is just like, some people don't even know that that's what they're supposed to do, or even how to do that, because they're not, you know, they're mentally. So it's like, that's like tackling that first within themselves, and then trying to be like, oh, now I'm good. I'm not qualified, but I'm capable of being with somebody else. And now we can build from now. And I think that's the issue that needs to be addressed first, because it's like, yeah, everybody is okay to themselves. Everybody can, you know, talk on a very professional level, not professional sarcastically, but everybody can talk like, oh yeah, this is what you're supposed to do. This is like, but can you do those things?
Like on paper, like, look, this is what you do. But yeah, then it's like, do you really walk that way? Like how you talk.
You talk about toxic masculinity, is also toxic feminism, where it's just like, you know,
I agree.
There's
Like,
a lot of toxicity on both sides of that, to be honest.
I agree.
but I feel like toxic masculinity is more talked about than anything. Like, oh, how men are, but it's a lot of expectations that I put on men by women that are sometimes like unreasonable. It's just like,
and that's toxic masculinity. Like saying like just because you're the man, you should be doing this, you should do that, and like all this. That's like literally the definition of toxic masculinity. So like putting things on men just because they're men,
right?
Which is a problem for men, because like what? Like just because
Save yourself, black man.
That you saw. Look, I told you
no.
I told you there
I
was
think
an
there are some
acronym
things that are on men just because there are certain things that are on men simply because they are men. But I don't think that they're. I think the question is who does that apply to? It doesn't apply to every person that you may see when you leave your house just because you are a man, but as like a man in your role, either in your family, as a husband, as a brother, as an uncle. There are things on you that are expected.
And that's personal relationships though. But to say like just because someone is a man, they need to do this or do that, just in the greater, society in general, depending what the thing is, like I'm not talking about basic humanity, like, being a good person and all that, but just in general, like thinking like man up, like that type of stuff, like, oh, you're a man, you shouldn't be you shouldn't show, right, like all this real man, like people shouldn't do that. I think that but
isn't that rooted deeply in just like the country in general? I mean, they do a draft here, like you have to go fight simply because you are a man. Like, but, you know what I'm saying? Like there are things that are just indoctrinated.
But we talking about relationships, and I said it earlier. I feel like you create the dynamic of your relationship. Like I said, like I can't come in a relationship and be like, as a woman, you should know how to make cornbread from scratch, or you ain't no woman. like
why cornbread? Like, what?
But you see how specific that's my understanding of what a woman should do. It's just like, nigga, you crazy. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? I got a good job. I make $100,000 a year. I just don't cook like that. But also, just that's what I'm saying. Two people from two different worlds coming together, trying to like figure out this Rubik's Cube for us to come together. So it's like we need to create an understanding for ourselves first,
exactly, and
then we can go out from that. If you talk about compatibility, if what I want and what you want don't work, then fuck it, we move along. But I will never go into a relationship saying like you said, there are some very basic things that are in us innately. Like as a man, yes, I want to be able to provide for you and I want to do things, but I don't want you to come into the relationship like you need to do this.
What?
Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
I want to do it.
Like there are things that you come into the marriage, there are things I expect you to do.
I'm familiar with that. What I'm saying is you want me to die.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, Calvin.
I can't with you in this die thing. Look,
what I was gonna say was like just like the basics, like protect me, make sure I'm okay, make sure I'm straight.
Right.
Like don't let nobody ever try me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like make sure I eat, like take care of me. Like that's all I'm asking. Like those are things I expect you to do.
I'm joking. What I'm saying, I'm just saying like it's things that I want to do, but if you expect, like, if you just come in like you better be doing these things, that's why I have a problem.
And like, by those things, you mean like extras?
Not even extras,
like cherry on top type of things that husbands do.
Not even that. It's just like when people say, "I want you to want to do it." That's me. It's just like I would never come in and be like, "You're supposed to do these things. You better do these things." I want you to want to do those things. I don't want to put the thought in your head. I don't want to put the inception, like the thought in your head to do it. If that's what you want to do, I greatly appreciate it. I want you to do it. But if I have to tell you like this is what you better do, it's just like I don't even want it.
You don't want it. Exactly. I agree with that. Like you don't want to be forcing someone to do certain things just to make you happy. I mean, that's different from communication where someone might, you've got to learn each other and make compromises and all of this. That's a totally different case because that's what we all want, right? But I get what you're saying, Calvin. You don't want to say, women should know how to do this, so this is what or a woman having some expectation of you just because, and then it's like now she's belittling you because you're not doing this certain thing. So, I mean, now, like Kayla, we talked, like you mentioned it earlier about compatibility, and that's very important. sometimes people are not compatible. You might want something out of a man. You might want something out of a woman. You might want something out of anyone. But if you want that thing and they're not giving that thing, I don't think you should belittle them. I don't think that people should belittle a man because he's not fitting into some mold. Or if a man cries, or if a man, is sad or something, it's like, you're not a man. Like, no,
like that. Like, no.
Yeah, and that's what, like, when I talk about toxic masculinity, I'm talking about like things like that. Like,
yeah. That's definitely
putting men in like this tiny box and saying like, this is what it looks like to be a man. And it's like, come on, men are very diverse. There are lots of different types of men, and they're all still men. So like, I just, I don't know. But yeah.
I also was just like thinking in terms of like, since we were talking about like this expectation that is on men. Now, as a Black man, there is a certain expectation that you will perform sexually at a high level, right? So if you aren't able to do so, is that like, quote unquote, what Kay is saying, like coming down on you? Or is it just like, oh, like there's a stereotype of expectation and like you just didn't fit that?
When you say perform, I feel like sex is 100% based on people's experience.
No, I'm just saying the stereotype around Black men. You know what I'm talking about.
No, I understand what you're saying, but I'm also saying like I don't know what sex looks like to you. So I'm saying if a motherfucker come in, and you talking about size, you talking about performance, like that's like two different conversations.
Okay, I'm talking more size.
Then hey, it is what it is.
See, and saying like out there, some women may say like, "Oh, you're a Black man. I'm expecting you to be," you know what I'm saying? And you're not. Is that like the same? Because it's that expectation that you're a man and men are supposed to, and especially Black men are supposed to.
And again, that's based on your experience. You see what I'm saying?
That's a stereotype that's out there.
No. What I'm talking about sexually. I'm not talking about you specifically. I'm saying, a Black man's supposed to have, and then you show up. It's like if you never had sex with a Black dude, or you haven't had a lot of sex, it just is what it is. But if you had some huge shit, then you just like, this ain't huge enough. You see what I'm saying?
Huge. I guess I was more.
No, do you understand what I'm saying? Like it's only based on.
I get what you're saying. I was more
like you're like
towards the expectation as a man.
That like I feel like as a man in general, we don't get to pick our shit. That shit, it just is what it is. Unless we out looking at dicks, just like, you know what? But I ain't out looking at dicks, so I don't comparatively, I don't know what I have.
That one.
Not even I want. It's just like, okay, this is where I fall at because there's some shit over there that ain't got nothing to do with me. You see what I'm saying? So, I'm saying as a man, it's like that's just some shit you gotta accept. It's like women. Some women got ass, some women have big breasts, some women don't have either. You see what I'm saying? But the difference is y'all can go out, y'all can get breast implants, y'all can get ass injections, y'all can change the shape of that thing. With man, it ain't no dick injection. I mean, I'm pretty sure it is somewhere in Hollywood, but it ain't like niggas going to get DDMs. You know what I'm saying? Like
what?
I don't know. I just dick. I took BBM and I made dick. It's dick in there somewhere. Dangerous dick measurements.
He said
DDMs.
I'm like, what does that stand for?
I just made it up. Is that a thing? Is that a thing, baby?
DDM? I don't think so.
I made it up. Okay. Don't worry about the term.
And the fact that it was so quick, Calvin, like what? You just threw some
letters out? Like it was already a thing.
That's what I'm saying. He said it confidently and quickly, and I was like,
I talk for a living. That's what I do. I had to let it flowed out.
Oh my
God.
God.
Y'all get BBMs, we get DDMs. I don't know.
Stop.
We're gonna bring up some
dangerous dick meat. That's what that stands for. Dangerous dick meat. You go to the doctor and let me get the dangerous dick meat, and then they just throw.
What?
They throw some. I'm joking. I don't know what the fuck. I feel like y'all. I feel like stop taking this so seriously.
I'm sorry.
Do you feel like we're judging?
No, I'm not judging. I don't feel like y'all judging. I feel like y'all taking what I'm saying too literally. Like niggas is out here getting dangerous dicks.
No. I thought you were educating me
No.
And so I was
look, and he's just making stuff up, and me and you are just like, what?
Oh, my bad. Shock face. But
oh my goodness.
To the stereotype.
Hey, before we get to the caller though, okay, you didn't answer though.
What?
When you marry, do you marry their family?
Yeah, I agree with what Calvin said. I think you had stepped off for a little second. I agree with what Calvin said about that.
Oh.
You know, of course, like ideally you want to have both families liking each other, you know, each person liking the other's family and all that. But at the end of the day, you know, the relationship is between the two people. So yeah. And he mentioned something about like the partner being the liaison between their partner and the family. And I think that's true too. You know, you're not going to sit up and let your family like disrespect your mate, and, you know, hopefully your family won't sit up and disrespect your mate. It's just like all about respect, you know, in terms of that. So you definitely, you know, want the families to come together, and you want your mate and you to like each other's families, but
right,
you know.
Yeah, it'd just be so seamless to have like holidays, everybody come over and like we can play spades and we can play games and we can have a good time together.
Yeah,
like, that is the best. Like that, I think that's what everybody wants. So it's just like,
and it's like how close is someone with their family? Like there's so many variables that come in where you really decide like how much weight certain things have in your relationship.
Yeah.
So you know that varies by couple.
And then as we get older, just going into the last topic so we get the callers on, as we get older, different things start becoming priority in our relationships and in our marriage, i.e. our parents. My parents are in their 60s now. 60 ain't what it used to be. So there's very much young and vibrant. So I don't have to worry about it for a little bit. But like if you have parents that are older, say late 70s, the conversation comes up, you know, in terms of what's happening with your parents, especially if they have any kind of ailment. So that kind of brings me to this. It's a conversation I was having with someone, and her saying both of her husband's mother was, you know, going through something, and her mother was going through something, and like it became a debate in terms of like whose mom they were going to be able to move in with them to help with. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, that's a hard conversation, especially if both of your parents need you, and like, you know, either your other siblings don't have the capacity or resources to do so, or maybe you could be the only kid. Whose parents take priority as you get older in the relationship? And you know, I guess I know that it depends on the type of resources that you and your husband or you and your wife have, but that's like a tough question. Like when that question comes up, like, what do? You know, whose parents like take priority in the marriage when it comes to assistance?
Like, are you saying that, you know, one set or one parent, one side has to be picked, or?
Well, I'm just saying, say both you and your husband's parents or mothers were going through something medically, whatever it may be the case, and they need assistance. You know, a lot of people have mother-in-law suites, parent suites, where they move people into their house.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, paper, scissors. It.
I
mean, I'm just saying. But if both of your parents need your assistance, and like you don't have siblings, or he doesn't have siblings, like what do you guys do in terms of like there's not enough space to move both of your mothers into y'all house?
You know, you better get both moms some bunk bed, maybe not bunk bed, but some side by side twin mattresses or something. Because I can't see, you know what I'm saying that like, oh, your parent is not as important or mine isn't. Like, I can't see that at all. Like, I think you have to make a way. Do whatever you need to do. Those are your parents. You know, that's what I would think. Like, what? Coming down to a decision between the two? Like, well, you know, I'm sorry, but your mama, no, what?
You gotta sit both of them down like they on
right
on one of them game shows.
Right, like what?
Who gets a house key? That's the name of the show.
I cannot believe said Kay, we moving both our moms in here on bunk beds.
Not necessarily bunk beds, because they might not be able to climb into them depending on their ailment. But like, I'm just saying, like get one extra room, they gonna be roommates or something. Like, I can't see like picking one over the other in that situation. I think that, you know, if what? Like, I can't even fathom just being like, you know what? So like I can't even articulate what I'm trying to say. But yeah, like something would have to happen. We're gonna have to make it work. They're gonna be roommates in one room, they're gonna share a room, they could become friends, whatever the case may be. But I think that's the way it would have to go. Now if we're talking
like, y'all could put the straws in the hat and then whoever pull out the shortest straw.
No, oh my goodness, absolutely not.
I'm sorry, somebody said that in the comments. I thought that was funny as hell because like no, that wouldn't work for me. We would have to like build a like an ADU. I'm sorry, AUD. What is it? Additional unit, whatever it's called, a AUD, like on the back of the house or something like that. Because I'm not putting my parents in a home. That's not happening. A lot of things happen in homes. And we would just have to figure out how to make it work. But it's funny because my grandmother was here last week, and something that she told me, she's like, you know what it say in the Bible? And I was just talking about like she's moving to Florida, her transition. It's like, you know what it say in the Bible? You're a child twice and a man once. And I'm like, what is that? And then she just mean like you're a child when you're a child, but then when you're old, you're kind of back to like being a child again because you need help. Mm-hmm. She's 84. She needs help. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like we don't talk about that enough, about like that marriage is about more than just like how much sex we're having and is she making my tea when I get home? Like it's about family. It's about compromise. It's about, you know, doing what we have to do for our kids and the duty of it all. And then our parents and so many things that come with that, especially in the Black community, seeing heart disease is the number one thing, the stroke second. And, you know, like these things are important. So, and the resources that, again, we don't really have as much of. So someone could just say, oh, I could just hire in-house help. In-house help is like 26 grand a year. And that's for like some low cost in-house help. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think that these are kind of conversations that you and your spouse should be having when I say like, we're talking about where we want to be and what we want for our future. And we're not just focused on like how we feeling today and what the dynamic is today, because things are going to change and constantly be changing. And if we want the same thing and on the same page about that stuff now, then it'll probably work out versus like, you know, not.
Yeah. You want to talk about those things before they come up so that there's not this big shock when like, one partner's just like, nah, or yeah, or, you know, just to make sure you're kind of on the same page about things that can possibly happen in the future. Calvin, you know, I know you've been, you know, hearing what we've been talking about so far in terms of this topic. What do you think what do you think if one partner does not want the other partner's family member, you know, their mother, their father, you know, who might be sick or whatever? What do you think if like one partner is like, you know, I need my parent to move in, and the other partner is like, nah, like, and they're married. These are married partners.
Well, I'm gonna start by saying this. I would die for my parents. And
here you go with this die. This die thing, he won't let it go.
This is his just, you know, revisited.
I'm gonna down that hill. No, no, I think it's two things. One, do we have the space to accommodate said parent? If is it one parent, you know, like if I imagine that if I have a house big enough, we old enough where it's just like, you know, kids not in the house no more, we got an extra room, the amount of work and responsibility of taking care of said parent, that all those things come into factors. So to just say be like, no, they can't move in, it's like you're gonna have to explain to me why. Because if your mother, this is your parent, they
what if she say because your mama don't like me and you know me and your mama ain't ever get along?
Okay, well at the end of the day, that's my mama. You know what I'm saying? And if she ain't got nowhere else to go, I'm not gonna have my mother and like you're not gonna have your parent in the home. And you talk about conversations and communication and
so that excuse wouldn't work for you. That,
like, if her
and your mother don't get along,
I'm not putting my wife. I'm not putting my wife out, but I think that's also a conversation that I'm having with my mother too. Hey, look, I understand y'all might not get along, y'all see eye to eye, but you moving into my house. This is our home. This is her house, so you're gonna have to respect it as such. So it's not going to just be like, no, your mother can't come. No, my mother can't come. Father, whatever the situation is. We're not talking about extended family. We're talking about these are our parents. And a lady is. It's like, no, we're going to have to figure this out. And it ain't.
I agree.
There's no compromise. There's no compromise there. But for both parties involved, it's going to have to be a conversation. Like, hey, however you feel about them, you need us right now.
So okay, this is another question that I have. What if the circumstances in her moving you, because for me, I feel like the only circumstances in terms of a parent moving into my house is because this parent needs assistance, right? But what if your spouse wanted to move her parents in just because like they don't have nowhere to go and they just are becoming another dependent? How do you feel about that? Like her parents, they don't want to work. They feel like they retired now and they can't live on their Social Security. So they feel like they should live with y'all now. And how do you feel about that?
In that instance, how much money are they getting from Social Security in order to
saying they get something basic like $1,200 a month.
There's
no way you can live off of that.
I need all of that.
Calvin said you can move in, but
give me all what you spending your money on.
All right, yeah.
Bingo.
My
grandma do that bingo every week.
You get $200. I'm gonna need that stack. I'm gonna need a stack from you. That $200. Go live it up. Sick. Whatever you do, you got $200. Save it.
Whatever you do for the month, you have to.
You got $200.
He said he's taking her Social Security check. And he's giving her $200.
He's saying that she could still come. She could still.
So this is also, and I've seen this happen where it's like the parent moves in and not a parent because they still able-bodied. They kind of start like running the house. You know what I'm saying? You got somebody's parent like running like this, like we all live here, but it's like, oh, such as big mama don't like when people. It's just like, motherfucker, this is my house. You know what I'm saying?
So yeah.
And that's the same thing where it's just like I'm grown. I'm not trying to adhere to no I ain't saying like disrespectful like elder, but like I'm not trying to adhere to anybody else in my house. I have a spouse. That's my responsibility to my children, my responsibility. If you're moving in here, understand that you are moving into my house. I'm going to need your check. I'm going
to need your check.
I'm going to need 90% of that SSI. And you're going to be in the basement. And sometimes we're going to have parties down there and you can't be down there. That's it. That's all. But
what?
I'm not bringing
that's all. What? So you're gonna be like, Mom, look, you got to find somewhere to go, but you can't be down here.
Hey, look, I'm saying you can be down here, but there's gonna be some shit going on down here tonight. We're gonna be hanging out. The game is Super Bowl. We need the space. So
my gosh, that is hilarious that you are going to. Now, I just want to know how you're going to ask her for the Social Security check. Like, I want to know because I'm not asking my mom. You're going to have to go ask.
You know what? As the man of the house, he said he's putting his foot down. Look, you got to give me your.
What are they spending money on?
Well, medication alone for someone 75 plus can run $250 a month. So they're going to need more money than that just to spend and things like that. Like say, obviously they're living off of you, so they don't have to pay rent. You cook and you stock the fridge, so they don't have to buy food. And then you probably shuttle them back and forth to their doctor's appointments and stuff like that. So they don't need for a vehicle, but they probably need at least like $500 a month to buy medication and any other like personal items. Listen. And so out of that $1,200 Social Security, you're getting $700, but I guess that's enough to pay their portion of the rent. But I mean, again, you got to get them to give up their Social Security check.
Calvin said the S word 3 times while you were talking.
What's that van? What's the van that pick people up and drop them off? It's the van with the little and it fold out in a wheelchair.
There are many services that I have a friend. There's many services like elderly transportation services.
Yeah,
right. They're gonna do that.
Yeah, but that costs money.
That's fine. What
if you're on Medicare or Medicaid? It can be cheaper, but it still costs money.
I think Calvin wants to like manage those things with those SSI check, right? And then they get their $200 to, do whatever they want with.
Okay. And then you're saying you're going to take the other money to pay to make sure that they have the transportation and the medication and all that stuff. And then you're just giving them spending money to like, I'm going to go get ice cream or, whatever.
No. They're grown. They should know how to manage money already.
Wait, so what are you doing?
Clearly they don't if they're living with you.
What are you doing with your check is what I'm trying to find out.
I have living expenses. You're not going to.
You just. So you're making him like a roommate.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. He's gonna use their money for rent.
I'm redistributing the funds back into the home. Like you're not just gonna be you're not going to pocket. You're not going to be pocketing money, and we out here fucking,
So what if your parents said that I paid for you to live with me for free for 18 years?
I'm going to say I didn't ask you to be here. You was fucking. Like, that ain't got nothing to do with me. I was a byproduct of that. You legally had responsibility. Once you hit a certain age, you was like, I got out your house. I left. I didn't come back and be like, hey, you had me. I'm your child. You supposed to take care of me. I'm already doing you a courtesy of being like, hey, come stay with me. You don't have to be in the streets or in the home. I'm going to just need that checkup off you.
I don't know at this point whether you're being serious or if this is just like,
I don't know. I'm trying to find out.
I can't tell. So I don't know how to react because I'm not sure at this point. I know you, Calvin.
I'm going to double down. I'm going to need that check.
No, I mean, I can get where you're coming from because clearly they're not good with money if they need me to support them at 70 years old. Like, I would be like, your insurance money hasn't grown by now? Like, I'm thinking, like, where's your, like, you don't have, like, an annuity paying you something every month? Like, what's going on? But at the same time, I don't want to judge because there's a lot of Black community, a lot of older people. Like, if I think about my grandmother, she has, like, a 7th grade education. She was born in 1932 or 35. So they just didn't have that. My grandmother, my mother has that, but like my grandmother, say if you had parents that were 75 plus versus like 60, some of them didn't have that education in order to understand how to set things up for appropriate retirement. They were like working in factories, and then factories closed down, and then a lot of people just moving around. So I don't want to be judgmental and say like, oh, why are you old and you don't have anything? Because like I said, there are circumstances surrounding that. Now, if you're my parents' age, like you're 60, 55, 60, nah, like, what are you doing? No. But like my grandmother's age, like I understand. My grandmother literally grew up on a sharecropping farm, like no education, was doing what she could do. So that's the kind of situation where I'd be like, cool, like you can come live with me. But like, somebody that's like just being frivolous or whatever and then think they can just come live off of me, like, no.
Would you teach your parent a lesson, Kayla? Like, oh, you didn't do this what you were supposed to do, and you would let them just be out on the street?
No, I would still have my parent come live with me, but I would have certain things that I would require of them. Like for me, I wouldn't take their check because I want them to know what they're paying for. So I'm gonna send you a little bill every month, and like, this is your portion of rent, this is your portion of utilities, and this is your portion of like food or whatever. And then you pay me versus me saying like, I'm turning you into one of the kids. Like you bring me, you bring home your.
I mean,
what if they don't pay you?
Much like you don't want to do that to them.
What do you do if you invoice them and they don't pay you? What? How long does that go on?
Like, are you going to evict your parent? Like, what's going to happen?
I fuck the money.
That's a good question.
You know what? This is the thing for me. Like, it's all about, like I said, I'm going to make it happen. If I can make it happen, it's going to happen. And, me and my husband, we're going to make that happen. And at the end of all of that, it's not me like trying to prove a point to my parents. It's more so, I can do this. So now let's say there's a situation where a person can't, afford it. Yeah. You're going to try to get that little extra $1,200 a month or whatever, because $1,200 a month is not enough, like for a person to like comfortably, you wouldn't necessarily want your parent trying to live on that if you could help it. Like some people have to make do, but if you can help it, you wouldn't want that. Probably some people, I guess. I wouldn't. So like, yes, if I needed that money, like, to keep the household going and all these things, yes, I'm going to be like, you know what? We need this money over here. Right. But if I don't need the money, I'm not about to punish my parents in their old years, talking about here's an itemized bill for everything. You use 28 sheets of toilet paper on Monday, December. No.
I'm saying like, if you really need the money for your household to run, then you may have to charge your parent. But for me, I'm already thinking futuristically, like, and just in how I'm living my life now. Like my mom, I'm not charging either one of my parents to live with me. I don't need their money. I won't need their money.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Like we gonna have them. They're gonna be straight. Plus, my parents are very independent. They're not gonna want to move in until like they know that they need to. You feel me? Because like when I've noticed, once these parents get us out the house, they be for the streets. Like I be on Facebook looking at like my aunties and uncles and stuff.
You said parents?
These kidless empty nesters be out here living it up.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm telling you, they be out here living it up.
My sisters, they went away to college, graduated, they out the house, they taking trips, they gone. They in the streets.
My aunts, they in their 50s and 60s, they just out here. So at that age, they're not gonna live with you no way. They only gonna live with you if they need to.
So, and that is more reason for me to take at least half they check. If I need 50,
you lowered it from the whole check minus 200 to half
50 to 80% of their check, just off the strength of respect. Like, understand, you got to give me something. You got to give me something just so you know, like, oh, I appreciate because I'm giving you money, so now I appreciate it more. But if you just living here free, scot free, and you buying scratch off tickets and playing a lotto and going bingo and you going with friends hanging out at McDonald's playing chess and check. Nah, come on.
Again, I feel like if I have the money, I'm not charging them. They let me live with them for free.
I could be Jeff Bezos.
Oh my goodness, Calvin, stop. Whatever you're about to say, just you could be Jeff Bezos and what?
I need that check.
No, you don't.
Run that check. No. It's
all right. Well, all you elderly people who, all you ladies who may be interested in Calvin, just know that your parent needs to have their finances together.
My parent too. It ain't just
talking about the young woman of whoever that you may date or
Calvin said if he's Jeff Bezos.
Whoever you are out there, young lady, you need to make sure that you create a rainy day fund for your parents because Calvin is not having it with your mama. Okay. He wants her Social Security check. And that is the end of it.
50 to 80%. Calvin, you are 50 hilarious.
to 80%. And if you ain't got it, it's coming out your account.
You gonna take it out my allowance?
If they ain't got it, then it's coming out your account. Get your money from your mama. That's the you need somebody, get it from your mama down there.
Wow.
She down there ordering Uber Eats, watching cable television.
Watching cable.
What? Not cable television like it's a premium. I guess it is with all the streaming services, right?
All I'm saying is, if she went to, you got to pay somebody.
But what if her mother is super helpful, like my grandmother? Anytime my grandma come, laundry's done, things are clean, things are organized, food is cooked. I come home, there was food in the fridge, everything is clean. She just went in my bathroom, she cleaned the towels, like. 50%. That's what women in my family be doing. So you could come stay with me because
50%. She get 50%. I just need 50%.
She's doing housework.
That's why it's not. That's why because he said 80. So I guess he's like monetize. He's
You know what? I'm done with Calvin. Let's get some callers on because I'm done.
And the fact that the comedy thing and the seriousness thing, I still don't know. I might have to ask you after the show. Wait, were you serious about that?
I still don't know. I'm assuming that he's halfway serious, halfway joking.
Run me that rent money.
Run you. Oh my goodness. Go
ahead and bring some callers up and see what people have to say about tonight.
Hi, Dr. Wiggins.
With Dr. Wiggins. It's funny. I have a client named Mr. Wiggins.
Does he wear a wig?
No, he's bald actually. And he has a whole marketing agency called the Wiggins Agency. He's actually yeah. But anyway, what's up? How's it going?
Okay. He probably does organic wigs and all. Okay, got his business going. But yeah, when you're married a family. That's your choice. But what's supposed to be when you find your special person, everything they're supposed to be submitting to, and you're supposed to be all like you're the most important person in their life, like before the family. So that's something that kind of should be worked out. Like if it's one of them their problems with the families talking about don't date this dude and your wife and But that's all I got on that. But I was gonna say because some people in the chat been firing me up about the SYSBM.
I'm sorry, what's that?
People in the chat keep asking me about the SYSBM, Save Yourself.
What's the SYSBM?
That's the acronym. Remember we were talking about earlier when I was talking about when people say that about black men not getting married or whatever. Can you explain that?
Oh, okay. I got it.
Can you explain it?
Part of it is some of the same stuff you already heard. Tomorrow, don't get married because the system's gonna get you. The woman gonna take the kids, run off. She's gonna gain 136 pounds on you. All the stuff that we've been hearing for last 20 years about women not cooperating, black women this, black women that, black women that. A lot of it is true. However, save yourself. Where you going? Now, if you make yourself a productive person, you can go out there and compete and go into the other races in which they're not so willing to give up their women. Those the other races. If you can go and learn how to speak some of them language and go over there and go, cool. But a lot of the dudes hollering SYSBM, they ain't going nowhere. And the thing that they're saying to do, get your money up and get yourself looking right. You're supposed to do that anyway. So I just don't see the point in it. Or I don't see the point in what it is that they're actually promoting somebody to actually go do that's empowering to the man. Yeah, you're supposed to be aware there's a system, aware that there's a lot of women. Most of the women ain't marriable anyway. But if you're saying, I'm not going to deal with these women, or I'm not going to get married, then that means you're going to be stuck dealing with the same woman that you've been complaining about. Because the ones who are wise ain't going to deal with you. So you're stuck dealing with the same ones you keep complaining about. But that's all I got on SYSBM.
Okay.
Well,
Anything
thank you,
on that,
Dr.
Calvin?
Wiggins.
And then I had, go ahead. Then I got something else.
Hold on, you go ahead.
The sexual expectations, where just because you're a black man and you showed up, you got to go out and beast these buns out and be Johnny Pornstar. Why? Why are the women so experienced? They didn't have meat that starts here and goes all the way up the street. They didn't been bent over with them dudes. They didn't got these electric gas powered toys in the bed and their walls are burnt out by the time they're 29, 30 years old. Then they asking for a black man to go perform. That's not on the man. That's kind of on the woman. It's too much experience.
It's that gas powered.
Yeah, they doing too much.
That's what I said. Sex is based on your
experience. That ain't the man's fault.
It's only
did too much. Yeah, and it's the man's fault. He can't.
Y'all got any? Wait.
They ain't even attracted to an actual decent looking, or some dude's ugly. I'm not ugly yet, but they ain't attracted to the man that they see over there no more, naked. They're thinking about some kind of toys and electric gas. Yeah, or them 5 dudes from 2018 that they shouldn't have been dealing with on that Vegas trip. They shouldn't have been doing all that. And now their walls burnt out and they're done.
Is this like a personal
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, tell us what happened.
No, unfortunately.
We want the story. Because I like the tea. What happened?
No, this ain't me. I'm just saying.
You sure?
No. I have met some woman that told me some crazy stuff though.
What did she tell you?
Do not turn this around and make this about him. Own it. Own it. Y'all, this is your time to own it.
He's speaking, it sounded really like personal.
Own this.
No, go ask 5 of your girlfriends. Man, Big Tony ain't nothing. Man, Quan can't do nothing. You knew what they were doing in college. You knew what your friends was doing in college. When you saw her climbing out that dorm room, walls burnt out.
Come on now. Talk to him, Kevin Samuels. Talk to him.
No, it ain't Kevin Samuels. Back's been blown out. They going out the country getting this international
Wait, okay, you said this wasn't a personal. Where are you getting this, information from? Are you, because we've talked before.
That's right.
Like
they're all virgins.
We've talked before.
Babies. You're right.
Dr. Wiggins, we've talked before on this platform. And I think sometimes you have a tendency to be mad about things that like you've never seen, never experienced, just things that you've made up or maybe seen on some maybe Reddit boards or some other places. So like, where did you get this narrative from? Where did you get it? You
know what? Let me ask the chat.
What? No. Wait. No.
The walls getting beat down or they not?
When you're on with us, you're on with us.
You're on with us, and you're not the host.
Okay.
So we're asking.
Let me start on the left to the right. K.
No.
We're asking.
Getting her back blown out.
We're gonna ask you. Where are you getting this information from? This information that you're saying.
Kayla,
You said it. Don't ask anybody anything. You said it. So where are you getting all this information? Are you making it up?
Right.
Yeah, I do want to know where he's getting this information because he's talking like he's in female group chats and shit. Are you in female group chats?
So is it?
Just know if you're in the female group chat, they see you as one of the girls. You know that, right? If you're
I'm a single man and I talk to single females and I've heard any and everything you can think of.
Oh.
Any and everything.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, tell me I'm wrong. This is your first time ever hearing this? So your women friends don't tell you about all this extra? They don't tell y'all none of this? Really?
What extra though? I'm really confused. Like what extraness are you talking about?
Y'all ever been to Vegas? Y'all ever been on them out of town trips with the girls?
What is that supposed to mean?
If I can
tell them something, man. Tell them.
If I can speak on behalf of my client, Dr. Wiggins,
you're
his lawyer.
Who are you supposed to be?
He's a backup public defender.
That's his lawyer.
I think what he's trying to say is,
when did you become a counselor? How'd you get into this?
I'm a bystander. I'm nonpartisan. I think, and I understand what you're saying because when you talk about like for women sexually, y'all expectations of a woman sexually are expectation is minimum. Y'all just show up with vagina. That's it. Y'all just got to show up with some vagina, and that's pretty much it, right?
No.
No. I ain't saying. I'm not saying bad, but basically you have to. But guys, we have to show up with penis and a certain amount of penis that we have no control over.
A forearm or bigger.
So now we not only do we have to show up. So your sexual history plays into what's happening right now, right? So if you don't did some wild shit, you don't got into some wild freaky shit, that's your business. But your expectation of the person that you currently with, whether it's a black man, now it's like, oh, I expect you to do these things because this is what I've experienced. But if you haven't had that many partners, it just is what it is. So he's saying if you coming behind somebody that has been doing all type of wild shit, been around the block and back, and now they like, yo, this ain't nothing. It's just like, well, I don't know what you've done. If you've done some wild things, that's all my client is saying. We can't compete.
Your client, I can't.
We cannot compete.
I won't bother to try to compete. When I hear these stories and they're talking about batteries and toys and.
But to be honest, for you guys to sit up here and act like that there's no expectation of women's performance, I think that maybe you're talking about men that don't like really get women like that. So they're just happy that however you show up, you showed up with some vagina. But like men that actually like are with women or like have experiences with women, I mean, your performance is important to a certain extent. I mean, if you think you could be a lousy lay and he's just like, she's wife material, like I don't see that happening.
We're not talking about wife material.
Or even girlfriend material, or even I just want to keep doing this with you. If you're a lousy lay, it's not going to happen unless he's the kind of guy that cannot get vagina. Then he's going to get whatever vagina he can get because he's getting vagina. You know what I'm saying? But a guy with options is not going to keep entertaining a lousy leg. So for y'all to honestly act like a woman's performance doesn't matter, okay.
I feel like you gotta put stipulations around it.
That's cool as long as I can get it when I want it. I'll take lousy. I'll take mediocre. I'll take mediocre.
Why are you up here capping? What is that about?
No, I'll take mediocre. Cool.
You'll take
as long
mediocre.
As she's nice and friendly, I can get it when I want it. Cool. Versus fantastic, breathtaking vagina that comes with 3 headaches every time I stick it.
That's what I'm saying. Why does that have to come with something else like that's negative? Because men that make women their wives, like they're happy with it. It's phenomenal, and they're
not
happy.
Not all men are happy that are married.
Well, that's unfortunate to your experience, but that also explains
I'm not married.
A lot.
But I'm just saying, like
in general, men that make women their wives, they're happy with the performance. I don't know a lot of men that are making women their wives that they're saying like, oh, she's like whack. That's one thing that I hate when men come on public
Have you asked these
forums
men?
and they try to say, oh, if she's not that attractive or if the sex is not that great, you know what? She's friendly and she can cook and I'll make it work, because that's some fucking cap.
Kayla, they can't cook. They'll burn Kool-Aid if you let them. Half of them can't even cook.
I'm trying, Kayla. I don't understand. Like, I feel like the framework in which you framing like this conversation is just like,
Calvin, you're no longer representing Scam.
I'm asking a question.
Calvin, can you speak to the wigs, please?
I'm just
He
asking
said you are no longer representing him.
I'm just asking a question. I feel like
you're
framing. I feel like you framing the conversation. So like, we're talking about sex in general, and then you talking about sex for a spouse or somebody married.
I even said in general. I said in general, if you dated someone for a month, y'all go ahead, y'all get it cracking, date for whatever. You're trying to maybe you'll go for it one more time to just see if like maybe we were on the same page the first time. But you're not gonna make this into like a thing if it's not good. So for you to say all a woman has to do is show up with vagina,
are you speaking as a man or a woman?
I mean, I guess.
I mean, no, the original question, the original topic point was expectations of black men in the bedroom.
Okay.
And now we're talking about. I feel like we're talking about sex in general from both sides, and I'm trying to figure out what this has to do with being with somebody. We were just talking about stereotypically, like, oh, black men got to show up to the bedroom with some stuff, and he showed.
I'm just saying, if it's already talking about the expectations and all this, and then when she's talking about the toys. To me, it's a turnoff. I just think of burnt out wall syndrome. I don't even want it.
Well, hopefully you find the woman that you want. We're gonna move on. Were there any final thoughts? I'm just saying, because there's a lot of people that like dropped off in the bag because there's been a long time. So
just one more thing, Calvin. Is there anything you'd like to express about these wigs? I had a special request for people in the chat to address the new organic wigs. I think people are trying to get insurance on them. Anything you like to say about them?
I'm not privy to organic wigs.
What?
No, I don't know anything about organic.
You don't know about the organic wigs?
No.
Oh, okay. I think you can get them on eBay.
The weirdest thing ever.
The fact that Dr. Wiggins Scam likely came here as a representative of the chat with a question for you is just the funniest thing. And then, y'all are meshing well. Like,
not a representative of the chat.
Yeah,
last week
Calvin was his representative, like on the right now. He's like, look, my client, and then Dr. Wiggins Scam likely is like, look, I have a question from the chat for you, Calvin. It's a lot going on.
Who are you? What are you doing?
Right. Who are you?
But,
what are you doing?
Last week was funnier than anything. That was funny.
Out of all of this.
Dr. Wiggins, we love that you support us every week and all that. Thank you for calling in and all that. We appreciate you for sure.
Cool. Everybody
and
have
you
a good
try
night.
to be funny with your name. You try to be funny with your name, and that's an actual real name.
Oh, Dr. Wiggins? Oh, cool.
This actually, I told you, I know someone that runs a whole business called the Wiggins Agency. Very successful marketing company. It's a real name. It's a real name, but you was trying to be funny. But we see. But we will see you next week. We're gonna try to get everybody on here while we have our last 49 minutes.
All right, everybody have a good night. Plug up your wigs.
You too.
What up, Marvelous Opinion?
How you doing, Miss Kayla? How you doing, Kay?
Hi.
Long time no see. Haven't seen you guys in a while.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming back.
Yeah. So it was about marriage and families and then how important that is. Yeah. So I would say it's probably one of the biggest parts, if not like besides kids, but the extension of family is very huge. At least in my relationship, it plays a big role because now you think of it this way. I have family in Taiwan now, not just in the US. You know what I'm saying? My family extends far now. So there's pros and cons to it, you know what I'm saying? You have to fly here, fly there, but now that I have somewhere else to go, to explore and to see and just different cultures and everything, it's exciting. I love going to Taiwan. I feel well received, warm people, the food's good. The parents love them as well. Communication is still a little shoddy, I had to learn some Mandarin. I told my wife, I said, yeah, as soon as the kids get here, I promise I'll learn it. We'll learn together. But it's just an extension, man. Like having more family for me is great. I love having a big family, But it's good, you know what I mean? Some people, they don't really work out with other families. But for me, before I married my wife, though, I did get permission from the father, though. So I mean, like, I did get to know who he was and stuff like that, and see if I was even accepted. You know what I'm saying? Because if I wasn't even gonna do it. But all was well, so it worked out. Is there any other questions on the topic?
I think that's I mean, that's overall what we discussed for the most part is like, those dynamics of intermingling your families, and you've definitely attested to that going well and successful marriage. So we're definitely happy to have you on the panel.
All right. Is there any other questions you guys want to know about, like when it comes to, I don't know, you said like moving in, deaths in the family, stuff like that. Like I did think of that a while back, especially my mom's, because I've been in the military for a while, and my mom's always been saying she want to move in with me. And when I was younger, I'd be like, hell no, you can't move with me and stuff. But as I matured, I realized, like, because especially with the system that we have now in America, the nuclear family, it's not how it's supposed to be. Like, and plus traveling the world, I see some things. Like, we're the only ones that just like kind of move out at age 18. Like, you're supposed to go out and do your own thing. And it's like other countries, man, even in Taiwan, they be like age 30, even with families, still moving in with their parents. You know what I'm saying? They still live with the family. Like, it'd be the grandma, 3 generations in one house. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just different for us. But the thing is, it doesn't have to be that way. You know what I'm saying? We just kind of adapted that way. We made that the American way for the most part, but we don't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be such a hard thing for us to do, But then I also heard you guys talking like, well, I don't want my mom's and listen to her rules, her nag, and then I don't know how my in-laws are and stuff. It's true. It comes with challenges and stuff, but like for me, I've earned enough respect from both sides of my family where it won't be an issue and such like that. We have an understanding of things. My mom won't disrespect me in my household or my wife or anything like that, and vice versa. We keep it very kosher in my household. So things is good so far. But there will be challenges, but we just deal with that,
I'm glad to hear that.
Thanks. I've been married in May. Not May. That's my Navy thing. April 1st is when I got married, and I will come up on 7 years.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you. I got married in Hawaii too. I did not expect that, man. Like a lot of things that have occurred, like everything I did that was spontaneous, this was the best choice. Like when I joined the military, that was spontaneous. I kind of was just like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. Just do something, and came out to be great. Went to Spain. My wife. When I met her, right? Meeting my wife, that was interesting because I met her online, and I didn't think she was real. I did not think she was real. I thought she was a scam. I thought it was some other stuff, you know what I mean? Because I was in Spain at the time, and she was in Taiwan. And I was like, who is this girl? And she was very pretty, very, very, very pretty. And I was kind of like, I have no experience of Asian women whatsoever. And I'm just like, I don't know. This might be something else, but we'll see. So then we FaceTime, stuff like that, or I should say Skype, really. Skyped up for a couple months, and then I said, no, I'm taking a trip out there and see what it's like. Amazing. Best decision I ever made, because it was just like, my first time in Asia was just, if you've never been out there that side, on the east side, you'll enjoy it. Like, it's just, I mean, not now, right now, because of COVID and stuff, but it's amazing. Like, the sites, it's like a little piece of Hawaii when I was over there. It's just so beautiful. And again, the people, they want to take pictures with me and stuff. They were just amazed because not too many brown people out there, you know what I mean? So they're kind of more like, oh, wow, who is this guy, But it's lovely out there, But it's just little things like that, and you appreciate a little time, you grow. But no marriage is perfect, though. Nothing is perfect. I think that's a big issue that a lot of us have in society, is just individuals that we go towards these absolutes in life. We end up being pretty much polarized in the way we think. It's like it's either one way or another way. And it's like it's never that decisive. There's always in betweens. You know what I'm saying? That's why I like having discussions. We be open-minded to different things and try to move yourself off of that frame mind where it's like it's one way or another. It's like, no, listen to other minds, different opinions, and hear what's going on, because there's other things out there for you. You just don't know. You have to don't think that you will know it all and be a fool. You know what I'm saying? You basically you're limiting your potential the moment you cut things off, think you know it all. You know what I'm saying? But that's how I just look at life now. And that's how I have to be more calm, more patient, and just listen to a lot of things. Because at the end of the day, I have to be humble enough to say, nope, I don't know. You got me on that one. I'll take it in though.
Thank you, Marvelous.
No problem.
Thank you, Marvelous, for sharing your experience and
great to hear some married men
mm-hmm.
perspective for sure.
And so congratulations on almost 7 years.
Yeah.
Yes,
Calvin, you got anything for me, man?
Hey, man. I mean, I like the perspective. I mean, you also coming from a very untraditional standpoint. You know, you're saying you met your wife online, and you know, having a diverse family and being open to it. So, man, I think that's dope. And I think I kind of mentioned it, but kind of creating your own dynamic within your family. And I think that's awesome, man.
Yes, man, I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, we hope to definitely come back and see us. You know, topics go up and down, so you never know what you're gonna get. So we hope to see you soon. Don't be a stranger.
Thank you for supporting.
You guys take care. Much love.
All right, see you soon. So while Kay, go ahead and bring on the next person. I'm just going to shout out to our super chats really quick in the meantime. Shout out to Eugene. To me, a woman proposing to a man shows impatience on her part. If a man thinks you are ready to be a wife, he will let you know by proposing. Thank you so much. And shout out to our Quake. The acronym is for Black men. The statistic was for all men. I guess we were talking about that thing that likely was talking about. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But shout out to the Green Gang. Thank you guys so much. Keep subscribing to the channel. And next we have, what's up?
Hey, can you hear me?
How do you pronounce this? I'm so sorry.
Chimoge.
Okay. Welcome. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Peace, everyone. Shout out to Kay, my fellow Nigerian. What tribe, by the way?
Igbo.
Igbo and Dewo.
That's what I'm talking about. I love when there's people love, you know.
Yes. Igbos. Best nation on earth. But so thank you guys for letting me up. Peace, everyone. So on this topic, I came a little late to the stream, but I've been listening for the last maybe hour or so. So I just wanted to say a few things. So first on the title topic, when you marry someone, do you marry their family? I think the answer is not necessarily, because marriage can mean different things to different people. Like some people get married and they move to Antarctica and like no one ever sees them again. But I think it's best if when you marry someone, you do marry their family, just because that's healthiest for the relationship between the two people. Because I think the reason a lot of marriages fail in modern times is because people are having them isolated and they think they can do it like that, but you can't. You need help when things come up, and also just for socialization, because you're not supposed to be like, because people watch a lot of TV and they think, oh, I'm supposed to be my like husband or wife's whole world. Like, no, you're not. That's kind of psychotic if you're only around one person all the time. So you need other people there. And then also if there's kids involved, which in my opinion there should be in most marriages, and in reality there is, you definitely need to marry their family because the kid's going to be a part of both families. So yeah, that's important. Then in regards to the related question that came up about taking care of relatives in the extended family that want to live with you, whether or not that should be done, I think when we think about that question, we got to think about how, because I think when a lot of people, especially in the West, are thinking of that question, they're thinking about it from a standpoint of that person isn't my responsibility. You know, once I'm an adult, I'm on my 2 feet, they're not my responsibility. And especially if they're not part of my nuclear family, I don't have to worry about them. But the thing we have to consider is that if you don't take care of them, another human being has to. Because people always think, oh, the government's going to take care of them. What's the government? The government is another group of human beings. And these people have even less fucking connection to that person than you do, right? And then people then want to later complain about, oh, the government putting people in terrible nursing homes, not giving people enough social security. When have you called that person? When have you called the old people in your life? When have you taken care of the old people in your life and said you want to get someone else to go do that, who's not even equipped to take care of them because they don't know them as well? And in a lot of cases, especially when dealing with Black people, don't care about them. You know, how are you going to get on Joe Biden for not taking care of your grandma when you ain't called your grandma? You know what I mean? So I think when you reframe how you think about that and think about how family is actually should be providing a lot of the services that governments are expected to provide in the modern day, and historically that's how it was done. It was a better society. I think the answer is clear that you know, even though it can be irritating at times, but it doesn't have to be, is another thing. You do have to take care of your family members when they're in their time of need. So I think for me, if I was married to someone and they didn't want to do that, that would be kind of a deal breaker. I mean, I wouldn't even want to get married to someone without making sure they would be okay, like taking care of my family if they're ever in a time of need, you know? So that's my perspective on that. I guess the one other thing I wanted to say was the question of performance that came up. Dr. Wiggins, I think that was his name, was talking about that. It's funny, but I have to say I don't quite agree, because at the end of the day, when it comes to like sexual performance, penis size, whatever, I don't know. A lot of these dudes in the manosphere, I don't know what they're reading, but like based off of my experience and what I've heard from other people, it just like once you're naked, it just depends on whether or not she likes what she sees, and then whether or not she likes what you do. All this, yeah, I think it's just that simple. It's not that complicated. Even some of the stereotypes, I mean for a Black man, that's not going to deter her. I don't know. I mean, there might be other, but yeah, just about whether or not she likes what she sees on you. So I don't, I don't think that's really
or whether or not she likes you, because the more that she likes you, the more she'll be willing to put up with like whatever.
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So yeah, and then one other thing on the SYSBM thing, save yourself, Black man. I think that's just pure coonery. That's all it is. Like, you know, I mean, yeah, it's just dumb. You know, like a lot of people talk as if Black men are gonna get treated so much better by women of other races. I don't know. Like either when they're interacting with these women of other races, like they're just so brainwashed that when they get slapped, they think it's a kiss, or like they've just never interacted with them because they objectively treat us worse. Like there's part of the reason most Black men who get marry Black women is because the other women don't want you ass. Like just, yeah, so that's just coonery. And if you look at it on a deeper level, a lot of that is probably FBI manipulation, just trying to get Black men to either not reproduce, or, you know, when you reproduce with someone lighter to get a genocide thing going. So yeah, people just got to not get on that train. But
interesting. I mean, we can admit that there is programmatic things out there that push a certain standard of beauty. So that's something that we all
yeah, yeah, sure.
Well, Chi, good notes tonight.
Thank you. And also, anyone who wants to hear more from me, check me out on my YouTube channel, Chimoge's Comments. And yeah, thank you all for having me on tonight.
Yeah, thank
you.
Sure.
Thank you for the support. Come back next week.
All right.
Let's get our next caller on. In the meantime, shout out to another super chat from Sir Chi87. I apologize for my cousin. Is this your cousin?
No, like I think this is just some other Nigerian who doesn't agree with me. I don't
okay.
I don't even like jollof that much, so.
Okay, good to know.
Oh man,
all right.
Come on.
We'll talk about that some other time.
Yeah, okay. we'll next week when we see you, we'll address that.
I'll just say it. Jollof is just the food you give to the guests that you don't know that well. I'll just say it like that.
There are other foods. Yeah, but jollof is absolutely amazing. But all right, thank you for coming up, and we will see you next week.
All right, see you.
Yep.
Go support his page, y'all.
Yeah, check him out. So next we are going to, what up, Billy? How's it going?
Hey, ladies, how y'all doing tonight?
Good.
I love y'all.
Good. How are you?
Hey, and Kayla, y'all are so crazy, but I love y'all so much. So much. Y'all are so entertaining.
Thank you.
I've been waiting to get on y'all's stream. But for the first thing, hold on, let me see what the topic is about, because I've been having so many. When you marry, do you marry their family? I feel a lot like my boy right here, Calvin. Forget their family. Their family ain't.
How he turned into a doctor?
Oh, I
was looking at that too.
I was like, how did you get to do that? Like, what?
The last dude said he was a doctor, so he was like, I'm gonna be a doctor too.
If you click the 3 dots, you can be whatever you want to be.
I feel you, but
Calvin and Dr. Wiggins scam likely really connected. Like in a, I think they're gonna be friends.
He became a doctor.
They might call each other, like they're gonna hang out or something.
They're gonna have a one-night stand on their bromance.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. What? They're just gonna, friends. They're just.
That's what I mean. Just like y'all click so quickly that y'all are gonna go drink beer together.
But the first things first. I do agree with Calvin.
Dr. Evans, OBGYN.
Look, check this out.
Sorry, go ahead, Billy.
I also agree with the last caller too. One of the last things he said was a lot of women of other races treat you a lot worse. And I actually have gone through that. I've been with just about every woman on this planet, different races, and Black women treat me the best by far. And I saw a video that was like, it was a dude talking to a white chick, and it was his girlfriend, and she was like, do you know that I'm losing by dating you? Everybody thinks that I'm trash by dating a Black guy. And in my experience, that's true. Like the white chick who actually is of high value, if she goes and dates a Black dude, she's looked at by her peers as less. And they know that. They definitely know that. I've dated outside my race a lot, and I felt that. Number two, but their opinion does not matter at all. 100%. When me and the mother of my child were breaking up, she's Arab. She's from Palestine. And her family had a lot to say about our relationship. And I would tell her, do you love me? Because if you do, what they say really don't matter. I'm paying the bills. We have a daughter together. We're building a family together. Islam was incorporated into society to bring people together. Despite race, creed, all those things, this, that, and the other, it was designed to bring people together, period. So are you a real Muslim or are you a play Muslim? Are you a real Christian or are you a play Christian? And so many people want to just, BS about the duty of a relationship. And the girl that I'm with now, me and her were having a good conversation earlier. And I was asking her to do something, and she was like, of course I'll do it. Although I knew she didn't want to do it. I was like, are you doing it out of guilt? She was like, no, that's not the word. I was like, what's the word? She said, obligation. She said, I'm obligated to do this for you.
Yeah.
And a lot of people in relationships don't realize that. Like, you're obligated by duty. It's like a duty. Like guilty, when you're guilty, when you do something because you'll feel guilty for not doing it, it's different than obligation. I was like, we were in the shower earlier, and I was like, it's my obligation to save these people, rather than I better do it, else I think I'll feel bad, because if I don't, you know what I mean? I think I should. That's a totally different approach. That's a totally different mind state. When somebody's doing for you, when somebody's loving you for who you are, for what you are obligated to love them back. So family doesn't matter at all. At all. What are you building? I also put in the chat earlier that my brother, my older brother, he's rich beyond belief. And he has a few wives. And so my mom and all his wives' moms stay on his estate. And they live the best life of all. Like we all went out one night and we went clubbing and this, that, and the other. And we came back home and all the moms in the house were acting like teenage girls when we got back. They were like 17-year-old girls. We were like, when we got back, all the kids were in the living room playing on the PS5. And we're like, where are the grandparents at? And they was like, we don't know. So it became a search around the house for the grandparents. We found them in the movie room, all the grandmas smoking weed in the theater room.
Wow.
And when we caught them, they act like 17-year-old girls. They were like, we ain't doing nothing. This is that. And I turned to my girl.
I
was
told
like,
you once they get
this
older, they go
probably
back to
has
acting
to
like
be
children.
one of the best lives ever. Like when you do stuff like that, when you get family involved, it's about building legacy and taking care of Black women. Period. If you're going to have multiple wives, you have to be real about it. And you're building a legacy at that point. And you're protecting Black women. That if you have
but you need to make sure you have enough money to do all of that stuff, okay?
If you're thinking about, I want to have multiple wives because I want to have sex with different options every night, you're going about it the wrong way. You're going to fail. My brother barely sleeps. He lives in this mansion with them and he doesn't sleep with any of them. He sleeps in his basement, which is the warehouse, because he works so goddamn much. And a man has to realize that's your role right there. Period.
I mean, we all love a Black man working, but I mean, you can hang out with the family too.
No, he doesn't, because if he didn't do what he's doing, it wouldn't work. He sacrifices himself.
I think that men deserve to live too, that their only duty shouldn't just be to work and die. I do think
but back in the day, that was our
live.
duty. In Africa, growing up on the savannah and stuff like that, we left. Me and my girl talk about this all the time because we watch a lot of anime, and there's guys who leave the home and like be gone forever and this is that and other. And I'll be like, babe, could you imagine if I was out earning a whole bunch of money and this is that and the other, but I had to be gone for 6-7 months at a time? She was like, I could imagine it actually. She was like, I probably like that. And I was like, you son of a... But at the same time, she knows her role as a woman and that she benefits from me busting my ass. So she wants that, period. That if she's like, if you're around here sitting on the sofa, all depressed and like looking at me like, hey, babe, is that? That's not what she wants. At the end of the day, if I got to come in here and knock it out once a week, but beyond that grind, that's what she'd rather prefer. That's all day. As long as she has the option to be like, you know what? My man got me. I don't have to work. I really don't. Because I know my man got my back. That's what every girl's fantasy is.
That's a fact. Everybody wants to know that their man got their back and that they can.
Like, I don't have, like, I'm my woman's a fucking a coach. She coaches basketball. She's a teacher and she does all these things because she wants to. But I told her, I was like, babe, you know, you don't have to do none of that, right? She was like, I know, but that's what I want to do. And I was like, all right. You know, you're going to get aggravated after a while, right? And she's at that point now where I'm like, sit your ass down.
Well, those are some good points tonight, Billy.
You know what I'm saying? But a lot of women don't want to give up that control. They like to have their, you know, money is power. So they like to have their own money and their own power and this, that. And I like my woman to have that as well. Because and like I said, like a lot of, like my brother who came on last time, I've got the most love from Black women. And it don't matter if they got money or not. Like, they're going to love you if you're a good, solid man. Just be real. Just be honest. Love them as best as you can. They don't care about your dick size. They don't care about your wallet. They don't care about none of that. If you are providing 75% of what she needs, she will not look anywhere
You
else.
hear that, Calvin? You don't have to put experienced there. She doesn't care if you're experienced or not. You can just put strong black man.
No. I feel what Calvin said though. At the same time, because
he had to put experienced black man.
But I've been judged by black women at the same time because I'm a slim, tall black dude, and
that don't mean nothing.
Know that I'm packing. They be like, you know what? I know this nigga got a long dick because he look at him. This is that.
Nah,
and
that's
I know
just
black
because
women think like that. Black women think like that.
Her observation.
It's and I'm not. I was in the Marine Corps. We took showers together, 100 people at a time, and dudes that look like me, you know, we was packing.
Well then,
that's just even white dudes sometimes. They're tall, skinny.
Yeah,
white
the whole
dudes
white man thing is a misconception.
It's just all about body type.
It's not about race. There are men of all races with small penises.
It's just about body type.
All races with large.
It's about.
It doesn't matter what race you are.
Just like slim women. Like slim, tall women, they can take the most. You can't hit the bottom. My baby just said, seriously, babe? Yeah, that's you. That's you.
I'm glad she said it.
My experience, I just mean experience. I'm experienced in being a black man. That has nothing to do with sex.
Oh, okay. You're experienced in being a black man. Yeah, that's what
life,
that is.
In life, I'm just experienced in life as a black man.
Okay.
But ladies, I love y'all. Y'all have a great night. And I'll catch up with y'all a little bit later, okay?
Thank you, Billy. Appreciate you for coming on.
Have a good night.
Callers, we are wrapping this up, but we appreciate. But no, back to Calvin. Experienced black man. So are there black men that are not experienced being black?
You know what? I think that this is a cultural thing. It's where you grow up at. A lot of times, I mean, you're black. Your blackness is not based on your experience. You are black, but I have lived a very experienced black life.
Interesting. Okay, I'm just clarifying. I just wanted to know for like those black men that didn't have experience being black men.
A lot of times,
were they in a white body, or how does that work?
I think a lot of times people get lost in that culturally in their experiences. Like if you grew up in the suburbs around white people, you just kind of assume your environment.
So you don't have as much black man experience.
Right. You are a black man. You will be treated as such by society, but your experiences as a black person, you know what I'm saying? So I went to college at the University of Illinois, predominantly white university, and the white guys that were in white frats that hung out with white people, their experience wasn't the same as mine. They may have been looked at or accepted by them, but from an outward standpoint of view, we the same. But if I start talking about something, they'd be like, dude, what are you talking about? Dude, that's not my experience. You know what I'm saying? So I'm an experienced black man.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, you can be raised in that kind of environment and still have a black experience.
Okay, well, let me say this. I have just been changing my name. This wasn't the point of discussion. I just
I just wanted clarity when you said experienced black man. That's what I wanted to know. That's all. And you've let me know.
I got you.
JR's joined us for the evening. JR, are you an experienced black man? JR?
I think he's here in spirit again. I don't think he's really like.
No, I was in the chat trolling for a little bit.
No, but are you an
listening to the
experienced black
previous. I was listening to the previous guy, and he kind of lost me with that last point. I was like, "Well, what?"
Yeah, I just let that go over my head because I didn't know. You know. But JR, are you an experienced black man?
You got to be a little bit more specific when you say
experience. Yeah, I think I'm still confused about what.
Why are you gonna change it to regular ass black man? What are you doing, Calvin?
He's like, I didn't mean to cause such a
I'm ruining your talking
Calvin
point.
put experienced black man, and that he said that he had experience being a black man, and apparently you can be a black man and not have that experience, and you can be a regular ass black man. So I'm just trying to get clarity. JR, are you familiar with any of this? And are you an experienced black man?
I'm not familiar with anything that you're talking about right now. And again, when you say experience, you gotta specify. Be a little bit more specific when you say experience.
Calvin, can you
help Calvin change it to specifically semi-experienced? He changed it to that.
And I'm gonna keep changing it as long as we keep talking about it. I don't know.
Calvin, this is your fault. It's your fault because Kayla tried to have a deep conversation about your name that you put up, and you're like, "Look, I just changed it." Like
all of a sudden, he put up a name called "Experienced Black Man," so I thought he was talking about his performance sexually, that he has experience.
What?
Because we were talking about that earlier. But then when I started to dig a little bit, he was saying that he has experience being a Black man, and I was trying to understand the Black men that didn't have that experience being.
Really?
I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for nobody else.
Okay.
Can we talk about me being a OGBYN? Can we talk about that a little bit?
No. That one just got looked over, huh?
So you're a gynecologist. You're a gynecologist.
That one completely.
So are you a gynecologist per trade or per experiences that you believe that you have that will somehow make you a gynecologist?
Well, I just want to say that I don't like the way your eyes, as you explaining it, this thing that you're doing with your eyes is very judgmental, and I don't appreciate it because
judgmental eyes.
You could just ask me a question without any emotion behind it. That's what you do as an interviewer. But you want to
as an interviewer.
Yes,
that's not how that works.
Right. So you're like do this thing like that's not. Don't do me like that. If you gonna ask me a question, just ask me a question. Yes, my experience is not by trade. It is more so by practice. To answer your question, that's how I became.
You're an OB. I am by practice.
I am an alley mechanic. I'm the alley mechanic of OBGYNs. I don't have a I don't have a certification in it, but I know what I'm doing.
Sure. On the job training. Right?
On the job. That's it right there.
You can't be serious, yo. You can't be serious. You cannot be serious, yo.
Listen, I think we that's all, I think that's all that matters.
I don't know.
What is that?
I don't know.
But you know what's funny is that my very first OBGYN was actually the guy that delivered me. My mom's OBGYN. He became mine. He was like the family.
How old was this motherfucker? God damn.
He was young when he was my mom's OBGYN. He was probably in his 30s. And then he became my OBGYN, in his 50s.
Did you know that Heathcliff Huxtable was OBGYN on the college?
He was?
Yeah.
That's the kind of doctor he was. I knew he was a doctor. I didn't know he was an OB.
Yeah, remember he delivered babies and whatnot. He was an he was an obstetrician.
Yeah. Obstetrician.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's kind of the same thing, huh?
Obstetrician gynecologist is the full thing, but yeah.
The OBGYN, yeah. That's what the OB part stands for.
Weren't you supposed to learn that in your own job training? I mean,
no, I don't ask questions. If you know what you're doing, you don't have to know the name of the thing that you're doing. Hey, hand me that hand me the thing with the circle. Yeah, I don't know. I just know how to fix cars. I don't know 3/4 inch sock. I don't know. Just I know what it looked like. Let's go ahead. Let's take some questions from the no. Questions.
It was funny. I think there were 2 callers who called in, and this is no shade to them, but while it was happening, I was kind of just they're like, "Do you guys have any questions for me?" And I was just thinking,
what?
I thought it was a little bit different than usual, right, Kayla? Usually people don't call in and ask us if we have questions for them.
I'm like, who are you again?
Hey, that's because y'all wasn't paying attention. That's why.
What no, we wasn't
no. When it happened, it looked like y'all weren't even paying attention.
No, we were letting them.
Yeah. So I think that's great.
No, we were just, listening for.
I just didn't have anything to say. I thought he was he was cooking up, and I was listening and I was learning, and he was talking about being married, and I was hearing him, and
he was cooking up. He was cooking up, and I was you weren't listening. You was not listening.
Cooking up.
Hey, like I'm gonna tell you this. Hey, I'm gonna just say this. If that guy was on a job interview, he would automatically knew at that point he didn't get the job.
No, we really were listening.
I was listening.
I listen to everybody.
Yeah, Calvin became like some people's lawyer. He like was, yeah, you were a hit with the callers and apparently the chat. Like when Mr. Who was it? Oh, it was Dr. Wiggins, Sam Likely. He's like, I'm the representative from the chat and they have a question for you, Calvin. I was like, what?
He turned into he turned into literally like counsel. I'm like, who? His voice changed and everything. I'm like, now who are you?
I think what happens is
a lot of new people on the show tonight.
I think the problem is people don't know how to articulate what they're saying. And when he was talking about things that he's had conversations with women about, you was like, I think you speaking who you've been talking to. And then that conversation kind of took a left. But I felt like if I could counsel him and speak on behalf, I could kind of get rid of
that missing link.
I can get rid of all the excess words.
Yeah. That could have definitely been helpful.
What he was saying was hoes be fucking. That's what he was trying to say. Right?
Okay.
Your eyes bucked a little bit. Stay with me. People be fucking and they have very high expectations of people that they shouldn't have. That was the gist of it.
Okay, so you were trying to basically be like the translator.
Yes.
Okay.
You know,
I'm
going to accept that. I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that. I'm going to say, cool.
That's how I know you weren't listening just now. Every time you take a long pause, you be like, yeah.
No, that's not Kayla's. I know when Kayla's not
picking up.
I was actually listening to you. I just was like thinking that it was a bunch of shit. So I was just like, yeah. You know what I'm saying?
No.
I could tell next week y'all ain't gonna have no calls.
Comedian Calvin.
I put the quotation marks so you can
to let people know you're not a real comedian.
No,
he wants to leave it up for interpretation.
That's for you because because we haven't even talked about me being a comedian. When I put the quotation marks, you just like we don't have to talk about that.
Okay.
Calvin, like I mean, now that we're nearing the end of the show, do you have any upcoming shows? What's going on?
Oh, what are y'all? Is everybody in Houston?
No, people are all over the country, all over the world, actually.
Okay, well,
do Chicago first, and then do wherever.
This weekend you can catch me at Zany's. I'll be at Zany's in Rosemont, headlining 2 shows, and then every Saturday I do a late show at Zany's. It's a 11 p.m. show. It's a showcase. It's called After Hours with Calvin Evans. I showcase comics, and at the end of the show I play the piano and we have fun and we jam. Then Sunday I'll be doing a fundraiser at the Promontory in Hyde Park. If you're around, it's a great cause. Please come out. I'll be headlining that show. If you're around the world and you're just listening, please go stream my new album Born on all streaming platforms. The B.O.R.N. Born, Calvin Evans Born. It's like I said, my debut album. It debuted at number 4 on the iTunes charts. So I'm super excited about it. I think it's probably the best representation of me out there.
Yeah.
Hey, Calvin, check that back chat, that private chat.
I got you.
We appreciate that. And I definitely shout out to you and your talent, out here working, out here getting it. So if you guys are in the Chicago area, check out Calvin. He's been hilarious all night. So I know his bit is probably fire.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. But JR was saying something earlier when Calvin was talking. JR was about to say something. JR.
JR.
Say what?
I don't know. I just know that you were saying something and then people kind of start talking over you.
Make sure you guys cop those tickets April 23rd for the live show in Houston. April 23rd.
that too. I thought that you had something per the topic, but yeah, the show in April is going to be really, really fun. I really want you guys to be there. The first time you'll be able to see us like in person and have a live studio audience. So things are definitely different, you know, and there's like a continuous thing. And then the show, you know, will go up on the channel as well. So obviously if you aren't able to make it to Houston, you will be able to see the show, you know, at a later time. But it's going to be really fun. It's going to be a good deal of fun. And if you're interested in sponsoring the event, then definitely reach out to me specifically or Rilla, and we'll get you guys taken care of. So it's going to be really, really fun. Oh, look at that. Calvin is a really good comic.
Yeah.
Hey, Calvin, do you have a link that you can put?
He got fans.
What
somewhere so I can post?
You know what? I think the easiest thing is just my IG, and I changed it's just at Calvin Evans Comedy. I changed my name to that because you can find everything on there. Website, right. Everything is Calvin.
If you do me a favor, change your name to your IG.
Yeah.
Change your name to your IG real quick.
I got you.
Yeah, and you guys can find him on IG to go to any of his you know, shows, and maybe he'll even be in Houston. Who knows?
Yeah.
I love Houston.
But tonight has been super fun. I actually didn't know which way this family topics was going to go. I just thought this is something that I really wanted to talk about. I don't think that we talk about things like this enough. I think we, you know, sometimes get bogged down in certain topics, but like when we talk about relationships, talking about bigger things like our families, like our parents, like things that are more important when you really start thinking about life for real versus like when you're young and all of that. So I'm glad we talked about it because I think these are conversations couples should have in advance for sure. So hopefully, you know, people are having those conversations and we are taking care of our parents and our family and building legacy, because our parents are a part of that too. Like even like our family recipes that I have in our family, my mom didn't like have them. She like knew how to make them, but they were never anywhere. And I like actually got them written and like made a book and stuff for us to have. And it's just like, we would never, you know what I mean? Like I would have never known that. So I don't know. I value family. So I'm glad we talked about this tonight.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good conversation. Calvin, you brought some lightheartedness. You were very funny, and you also offered some very, you know, good perspectives. And some of the time, we might not have known if you were joking or serious, but like,
I think the most important thing that if you don't know I'm serious, I definitely want that SSI check. I'm gonna need.
That's what that's the main part I don't know about.
I'm gonna need some of the SSI check.
You know what? I think he's serious. At this point, I think he's honestly serious because I'm like
bringing it up.
He genuinely feels like his mama or his wife's mama should give him their SSI,
and that he should not die for.
And that he's not going to die for his wife.
I am going to, if need be, I will die for my wife and children, my children before my wife. But I would definitely die for my wife if need be.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
You're gonna have to sell me on that a little bit harder. I don't know. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that at all.
It's not for you to buy. I'm not selling it to you because I know day one I'm dying. As soon as we're in a relationship, oh my God, it's a car. You gonna push me out there.
Wow, Calvin, you for real?
He was supposed to die for me. What?
No, that's not how it works. No, it's in the act of protecting or providing for your family, which is your wife. That's all that it is.
Just go without me. You gonna hold the door back? Go without me. Listen,
you're crazy.
I think the most important thing that we learned here today is that it's okay for a woman to ask a man for his hand in marriage.
We did. When did we say that?
Why did you say that's the most important thing we learned today?
JR, what are you doing with these sound effects? Who said that? Nobody said that.
It's definitely important because this shows about I think relationships start right here with you, right? Relationship, you got to know who you are, you got to know your trauma, you got to know your crazy, you got to know the things that you need to work on, and you need to fix all that. You need to not necessarily 100%, but you know, you got to be constantly working on it. And then after that, then you have to accept all those same things in somebody else, and they got to be doing the same things in order for a relationship to work. So that's most important, right? Can we agree to that? You looking around. Kayla, come on, don't do that. She looking around like I don't want to agree to no bullshit. That's how you looking at it.
It just seems like you're segueing into something else. And I knew, I knew what Kayla was thinking while she was doing that nod. She was like waiting for the next thing.
No, we talking about relationships, right? That's what this is about. We talking about relationships. A relationship can't work because you got to know what you want, right? Right? You got to know what you want. Kayla, look, did you go to law school? Because you want to know, you looking at me like a lawyer, like I'm not going to agree to anything. I will acknowledge that you said words.
I can neither confirm or deny that.
What?
I can neither confirm or deny that.
I'm just saying. That's why I think that's the most important thing in a relationship.
Nah, I'm just kidding. No, I agree. I mean, I do.
Because I feel like the things that we talked about, kind of like having unfair expectations of somebody. But it's just like, it's not even about are you worthy of those things that you asked for, but why do you want those things? Why do you have those expectations of somebody? And are you willing to do the same thing for that person? Because I feel like a lot of times people just want something, but it's just like, no, I wouldn't do that. I would never act like it's like a woman. Like I would never ask you to marry me for my own personal reasons. So why would
No, that's not. It's more tradition and precedence for me. I'm not saying that I'm too good to do that because I've seen a couple of different people who have been proposed to, and then they propose to the person as well, like in that moment, like, will you marry me? And then like, will you marry me? And like,
that's some cool shit right there.
I forgot where I saw that, and like he got on when he asked her to marry, and she got down there with him and was just like, yes, babe, I'll marry you. Will you marry me? And he's like, yes. And then they have like a moment. So I mean, but I just feel like the man should take precedent. He should take the initiative to say, I want to protect and provide for you, and I want to make you the priority of my life. And I just feel like that is a man's job, and that's what a man should do. I'm not saying I won't get down there with you and ask you the same, but you're doing it first.
But you first. I got you. Would you ever say to a man, I want to be married to you? Would you say those words out your mouth?
Yes.
Okay. That's fair. I just want to know. Like, I feel like that's fair. Like, hey, I love you and I want to be married to you. I don't. Yeah. Not necessarily.
Sure. Yes.
No, that's awesome. That's dope. I appreciate that.
And let him know. No problem with that.
And I say, I want to be married to you and I die for you, right? That's what you say to him.
See, I knew that there was some shit coming with you.
I just want to know, is that something that you feel comfortable saying?
Listen.
Come on.
Scratch it. You gotta answer that. Answer this. This is the question. I'm curious. Would you marry a man? Because I feel like honestly, when men propose to women and they present them with the ring, I feel like they shouldn't get to see the ring until they say yes. That's how I feel. I feel like a lot of women say yes to getting married because they see the ring and they like, shiny. Yes, I'll take that. I'll take it. But if a motherfucker was like, will you marry me? And you like, I don't know. And they like, well, you'll never know. And they put the shit Is that fair?
Well, there are people who've done that. There are people who just hold the box and say, will you marry me? And then once she says yes, then they open it. There are people who do that. I've seen that in engagements. But there are also people who, like myself, former situation, where there was no actual ring in the engagement. It was just like the proposal. And then like we went to a store and we picked out a ring. There's so many different ways you can do it, to each their own. Like some people like, I don't want to spend all this money on a ring that you don't even really like. And then he can't just be like, babe, hey, you like this ring? No? Okay. You like this one? No, like he can't do that. He could go to your mom or your sister or something, but he can't really do that. So like if he's unsure, I think doing an elaborate proposal and then taking you to get a ring, cool. Or just waiting until you say yes, then opening the box.
I'm rocking an empty box.
What?
I'm rocking an empty box.
Now you're being funny because this doesn't even make sense.
It can't. What's the part? The box is to be like, yo, are you with me? This is a show of you got to have some in your hand when you propose. You just can't be there with your hands clasped to myself. Fair lady, you can't. That's stupid. But you got to have some in your hand. I just don't. I feel like that it shouldn't be no ring.
It shouldn't be no ring. That you should just go get the ring later.
Yeah. I feel like the ring is leverage in the question. It's just leverage.
I don't think so. I think that if she says yes first, then she can see the ring.
Agreed. But I don't think it should be a ring though.
What are we doing then?
High-fiving, Fuck yeah, let's do this shit.
Calvin, get off my screen. Because now you just...
Let's clap and then hug. Let's go eat. That's what y'all like. Women like to go eat. Let's go eat. You trying to go eat?
We
Let's
do
go
like
eat
to go eat, but we also like a ring on the ring finger if we're going to be married.
That's the only time women dance, when y'all about to eat.
Wow. That does look familiar.
Y'all do be dancing. One time to eat. You be eating your food. You be dancing and shit. Guys dance when we about to have some sex.
Wow. The celebratory dance.
Yeah. It's just different things. We want different things. Different things make us happy. So
yeah.
Are you I'm sorry, you about to close out, but you in a relationship now. You currently in a relationship. Kayla.
Are you talking to me?
Kayla, that's your name, right?
Come on.
Me? You know what? Maybe I'm getting too personal. Fuck it. I just want to know what type of ring you want so he could hear it and then.
He's trying to help.
My mom already knows what I want. No one will ever have to guess. My mom knows exactly what I want. So just ask her.
Damn.
That's bullshit.
That's not bullshit, actually. I've actually. No, my mom really does know.
How long do you have, like, you one of the people that got your shit planned out? Like, you know what you want, what you gonna wear, now you got all that planned out? There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just asking, like.
I mean, I don't have everything planned out because it depends on what he wants as well. But I definitely have the ring already planned out, and I have a dress that I got in Europe that I thought would be a great engagement party dress, and it's just been sitting in my closet waiting.
Okay. Cool.
It's so gorgeous. I just feel like I would never see it again, so I had to get it and just
inspect what
it's never been worn. It's just in there waiting, and but yeah, I am a planner. I mean, I also have my own company. I'm a party planner. So I love planning stuff. I love stuff being elaborate. I love stuff being all set up and nice. So, I mean, I've planned some things, but for the most part, I feel like doing it together is the more fun part.
Yeah, so he can pick like his tie color and then everything else just like laid out.
Nah, he can do that.
He like, I'm gonna do purple, and you like, no.
I mean, we have to agree on some themes of colors for the wedding. So if the purple's not in the theme, you're not just walking out here in a purple tie. I don't know how you think these pictures are going to work out, but they're expensive. So like, yeah.
Because you got, what color you got? What's your ideal color?
I don't have like a color scheme in mind. I just know that finishes are going to be gold. I don't know what the scheme's going to be though, but it ain't nothing silver going to be around there.
Shit. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Well,
that's not hard to ask for. Gold is for royalty, right? Mm-hmm. So.
Well, I'll hijack this interview long enough. I'll let y'all. This your wedding picture.
So, Calvin, can you let the people know? Let the ladies know in the chat if you are available for solicitation. Ladies, his IG is at Calvin Evan Comedy.
No, Evans. I spelled my name wrong. Goddamn.
You spelled your own name wrong.
Calvin Evans.
He's funny. Grammar, not really, but he is funny.
I graduated.
Find him at Calvin Evans Comedy, and you can shoot your shot in the DM.
Yep, and definitely check him out on wherever you can check him out. Calvin is hilarious. I've seen him a million times, a million different places. Super funny. Definitely check him out. Stream Born everywhere where streaming is available, right?
Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, Tidal. It's everywhere.
Tidal.
Definitely.
Okay. I didn't know people still on Tidal. That's dope.
It's there. I don't know who listening, but shit.
If you like, look, I'm gonna put it there if it's there, right?
I just like, people still have Tidal. I didn't know that. Okay, cool.
Jay-Z and Jay-Z.
I mean, I know they had it, but I was saying, did anybody else have it on their phone? I know they probably have
you said Jay-Z.
He's like, yeah, Jay-Z and Beyonce have it on their phone. Like, okay. I hope they have it on their phone. Like, does anybody else have it on their phone? Like, but yeah, so it's been dope. Calvin's been an amazing guest. Thank you so much.
Thank y'all. I appreciate it. I didn't realize I was gonna be in here.
Yes, sir.
Like 4 hours. I appreciate it. This is awesome.
I didn't warn you about the time, but I'm glad you stuck around. It's been a pleasure having you.
For sure. And just a reminder, shout out to everyone. We will see you in Houston, April 23rd. You guys definitely get your tickets. Like, I believe like half the tickets are sold. So definitely get your tickets ASAP so that you can be there. Hotel discount will be available for you guys that need spots to stay. And we will give you the agenda there for the official show after party. And it's just going to be so fun. So you guys make sure you get your tickets. If you have any questions, hit up JR, and we will see you next time right here.
Absolutely.
Have a good night, y'all.
I appreciate you.
Good.